FTBPN.
Shout out to the Bigs. They just wrapped up another edition of On the Soil. They talked to Eric Davis. I didn't know that brother was like all that cold.
I didn't either.
You know, Gino is the baseball expert, right? So whatever he say, that's how I'm rolling. So just hearing how he's been talking about him since they actually scheduled that interview made me like looking like, how cold was this dude? It's legit.
Shout out to Don for the guest look.
Yeah, Don is the deal, G.
Guest look is outrageous.
Don is the plug.
Fellas, I'm ready to get up and do my thing.
She is the plug.
Don is dead at the
for
plug.
Gino and Mace. Why are we being left out over here?
Well, that's not really true.
Okay, well, break it down for me.
Oh, a wise guy, eh?
What'd she do? She set us up with Scoop.
Okay.
I've had Scoop's number for a while.
Salute.
But even like my associates with, Don is like, boom. You know what I'm saying? So I be like, hey, let's get you on the show sometime. I'm like, yeah, let's set it up. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk about it. We'll do. Don like, hey, yo, I need you on the show tomorrow. Like, okay.
Sit your $5 down before I make change.
Like, it's different. It's different with the big little sis, man. Shout out to Don, man. Shout out to the Book of Don.
WIFTBPN.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality Black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe Black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of Black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
What's happening, good people? Welcome to this Monday edition of I Said What I Said. We are live from the What's In It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. We get together right here with you all each and every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. And we discuss issues that are impacting the Black community, how those issues impact us as individuals, and how they impact us as a collective. And along with your help, we talk through many of these issues in hopes of finding the optimum solutions for how we can overcome those obstacles. Again, overcome them as individuals, but more importantly, overcome them as a collective. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. We greatly, greatly appreciate each and every one of you all. As always, your input is valued. It is certainly appreciated. Anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. We will read through as many of your comments as possible while we go through the show. We would kindly request that you please take a quick second to share the broadcast. Hit that arrow in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Share the broadcast on your personal page. Share it even within your personal network. Anyone, absolutely anyone that you feel would add value to or find value in this particular conversation, we welcome them to be a part of the discussion. It is our sincere belief that the more like-minded individuals we can get to be a part of this conversation, the better the opportunities we have of finding the optimum solutions going forward. So please take a quick second and share the broadcast. Also, if you feel so inclined, you can contribute to the show by clicking on the little gold stars in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. We certainly appreciate each and every one of those. Again, this is I Said What I Said. My name is Herb Howard. His name is Tucson Warner, too. What's happening, good brother?
What's up, famo? Blessed and highly favored. How you?
Man, ain't nothing to it, man. Just keeping it regular. Just happy to be back here in the studio, hanging out with you, hanging out with the IzWiz fam on this here Monday. Got some good conversations we want to get into. Also going to be joined again in the 4 o'clock hour. Dawn B is going to stop through and hang out with us as well. Check in with her, see how her weekend was. See if she was. Let me stop. Let me stop. We're gonna check
She is
in.
what?
See if she got her marriage back on track this weekend.
No, I doubt it. Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
Highly unlikely.
Nah, but we definitely gonna check in with her. Also, not as always, but certainly an absolute pleasure when she is. Sonia Escobar is behind the glass in the production studio doing what she do. Esco, what's up, girl?
What's up?
You guys.
I'm really healthy today, guys.
Yeah,
That's right.
Tucson came through with the
Blessed everybody with the green juices.
The green smoothies.
I feel like so much better than everybody else.
That's good, man. Health is wealth, man. Health is wealth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're pretty good too.
Yeah, what's in carrot?
Yeah, green shit. I don't
Yeah,
know.
green.
Cucumbers. I'm like carrots.
Yeah, green shit.
Go with it.
Green
You know what I
carrots.
mean? I don't know.
God dang it. They are good though, man. They do taste pretty good, and we are trying to do better.
Yeah, we all are.
Somebody requested that I join them in like a 2-week detox.
I think you should. I hit Ready Rock the other day because she said she's gonna do a 40-day water fast, and I was like, I'm on that. Let's do it.
Okay, Ready Rock, get it popping in this joint. Dr. Audrey Tanksley is here. We might get healthy this afternoon.
I'll do 2 hours.
Let's
I'm
go
honest.
say she got
I'm
2
honest.
hours for y'all.
Nah, man, it's dope because you need to account. It's dope to have an accountability partner when
Yes.
you're doing
You
stuff.
guys
like
wanna
that.
be my
You know what I
partners?
mean? Let's do it. I'm with it.
I'm down to be your partner, Esco. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Because
Well, you gotta keep me honest,
we can cheat
though.
together. No, that's why I want to pick you. That's why I want you to be my partner so we can cheat together.
What's the purpose in cheating?
Damn.
Huh?
What's the purpose in doing it if you're gonna cheat?
Right. You gotta make me better.
Because sometimes
Let's strive for greatness.
I don't think there's anything ungreat about a cocktail.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying?
What they say?
Don't judge me.
You
fam.
got to sacrifice your wants for your needs sometimes.
Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right.
Right?
Let's go.
We got a gluttonous culture.
I mean,
Right?
you
We don't know when
gotta-
to say when.
But also you have to.
Let me test your work.
Let
You
me
know what I'm
test
saying?
We surely didn't intro the show right today.
That's good.
We came with the video, but Let Me Test Your Work is now part of us.
It is.
Did you see in the comments every time we post something?
Yeah, people just be let me test your work.
work.
I'm seeing it pop up on the other shows across the media platform. I'm seeing it in the Maze Jackson show. I'm seeing it in the Book of Dawn. People just going, let me test something. I'm like, y'all are absolutely hilarious, man. I love it. I love it. I love it.
We trailblazers, man.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Of course. Sonya, you
Under the-
intermittent fasting. Yeah, that works.
Under the Trailblazer Act, right? We brought Let Me Test Your Work to the station.
Of course.
Absolutely.
But what I'm
to
saying,
the Midwest, I would say.
There it is.
Hey.
Right? You know, we brought that here. We break records. We break records.
It's what we
You know
do.
I'm saying?
It's what we
It's what
do.
we do. You
It's
know
what
I'm
we
saying?
do.
We break records.
It is why Tiger literally says that we are 23 and 33
Absolutely.
of media.
That's the truth.
That's the
anyway.
fact.
That's the facts, right? Those are just the facts.
Jordan and Scotty.
Esco, don't be a hater.
I'm
Don't
not,
be a
I'm
hater.
just sipping on my green.
Okay, those are the facts. But in regards to the conversation we was having last Friday about the brother who kind of dookied on the sister
I
about
disagree.
her value,
Uh-huh.
right? I've seen that explode over social media within the last week.
I have too.
But I saw it.
I have too.
And I said what
Saw
I
it
said
here first. You
Yeah,
understand what I'm saying?
first.
Again, we break
It's
records.
kind of what we do, bro.
It's kind of what we do, man.
It's kind of what we do. Things kind of start
You
in
can't
the
turn it
Is
off.
Wiz fam, and then it just kind of brands out. Like y'all take it and
Trendsetters,
you know, it just is what it is, man. Everybody that's in the fam, we set trends, man. What we talking about is what everybody wants to talk about. Y'all take it, and then everybody just comes a part of it.
It is what it is. I really want to talk to dude now because, you know, I see that thing has legs, right? And I
Yeah.
see that everybody else is talking about it. He's become a celebrity of sorts because now people have gone into his history and his past and have dug up photos of him looking a little zesty, you know what I mean? A little moist.
Yeah, by his standards, I'm a -4, I think.
Yeah, he looks a lot. He looks very, very moist and zesty in a lot of his photos.
Yeah, that whole setup of the show though, like when he was talking to the sister last week, that whole setup was just
The whole setup was
strange.
zesty.
Well,
Yeah, why is
compared to her being on a bed
Yeah,
twin bed in the corner?
it was just weird.
with
It was
nothing on the wall.
it was just weird. I didn't like nothing about it except that little toy thing that was on the end table. That was
I
little
didn't
spinning.
even notice that.
And Cherie said she got one of those. She even sent me the link for where I can find one. So shout out to Cherie, the comedian of the Is Wiz fam.
I'm gonna go off
Her
topic
Alvin.
real quick. Shout out to Dub, my cousin, in the comments.
Dub C, Crip Walk.
I'm shouting out Dub because I need to holler at Dub about getting to some of them joints. He knows what I'm talking about. But in that same vein, I told you this.
It's gonna take a minute to lay that on Dub real quick. Let me
That's
lay this
real.
on you.
That's real.
Let me lay this on you, brother.
But I also, I was telling you earlier before we started the show, man, I cleaned up my crib this week. I don't know what I was on, man, because I don't usually move like this. But I cleaned up my space in my house, right? My family keeps a clean house except for me. But in cleaning up the crib, man, I found like 3 pairs of like nice J's, G. I found like some cement 3s, Jordans.
Yeah, that's first world problems right there, my brother.
It's surely
I love
first
when that
world
happens.
problems, but I'm a sneaker, I'm
love
an
when that
addict, right? So
Yeah.
I was glad I found. I ain't seen these shoes in years.
Yeah.
Right, found some Bo Jacksons, and I found some running sneakers. I can't remember which ones I found, but I found them, so I was excited about that.
So 2 things. All right, Mr. Humility, Mr. Don't none of this shit mean nothing.
Oh no, I'm addicted.
You find classic sneakers in your crib. This, and this isn't the first time this happened, right? I know that you found those. It was a different pair of Jordans you found like 2-3 months ago.
I don't know.
Exactly.
It happens. I got
Clearly, but that says 2 things. One,
I got too many pair.
that's one, right? It says how many freaking pairs of shoes do you have that you are finding them, right?
That is sick. Man.
Classic joints. Now you ain't find like I forgot I bought 2 pair of ones that day, and I never wore the other ones. Here go a pair of ones back here.
It's really
You
ridiculous.
finding classic joints.
It's really ridiculous.
How many pairs of shoes do you have? And then how much space is in your crib that you ain't seen this part of the house in so long?
So it's not that I ain't seen this part of the house, right? So
Sure.
I gotta.
Sure.
I'm not gonna say how many pairs of sneakers I got.
I've
got
been
a
to
few.
Tucson's house
I got a few.
11 times.
But the problem is that
I've probably
I got 'em
seen 40% of this space.
I got them in these shoe boxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard for me to keep up. So I only like. What's crazy is that I wear.
You gotta
the
take
ones-
photos. Some people take the photos and stick them on the side.
I know.
Like,
I need to get those clip boxes. The clip
Oh,
boxes
yeah,
is
them
dope
too.
so you can
Them
see
too.
into them. But once you stack them, man, like I ain't digging through this to get to
Yeah,
that.
no, I
You know
dig
what
it.
mean?
Especially when you don't even remember.
I don't know what's in there.
And they probably would have set some fit off you had, some fit that you was desperate for, a particular type of shoe. They probably would have set them off.
Oh, that's ignorant. It's ignorant. I feel bad you said that.
should.
Out loud.
You
I-
should.
I do.
It's a
I
shame.
really do, G. I'm a victim.
it's
I'm
gluttonous.
a victim. I'm a victim, G. I'm a victim of capitalism.
Freaking Americans.
Yeah, I'm a victim of capitalism, man.
Freaking Americans. That's what's up though, man. I ain't mad. I ain't
Yeah,
mad.
you Americans.
Yeah, right. Everybody got their vice, man. You know, shoes is not the worst one you can have. So.
Yeah, my son be swiping me, right? So we wearing the same size right now.
Yeah, buddy.
So I forget I have a pair, and I look up and look on his Instagram, and I see him wearing a pair of my. Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, you ain't got them
Yeah.
buy.
Finders keepers, man. You ain't even know you had them.
Little jerk.
You can't be hating on him. You ain't even know you had the shoes.
No, it bothers me because he don't treat him like I treat him. You understand? And
Oh no, he going to hoop in them
Oh
joints.
yeah, he's so disrespectful with him.
You ever see
So
shorties like
disrespectful.
they do that squat, like you squat down, and the crease that it creates in your toes,
He's worse than that.
they don't even care. I'm like, bro, you can't crease them like that. What's wrong with you?
Man, that man took a pair of my mics this summer, and he snuck them because I don't give him permission to wear my joints.
Yeah.
He has his own little budget. He
Yeah.
does his own little thing, makes his own little money. And I found a pair of my shoes in the closet, and it was like a chunk. It looked like a dog bit, like it was a chunk missing out the sole. I was like, man, how do you even explain that? You know what I mean?
different,
Like,
man.
there's no explanation for how you even did that, fam.
Yeah.
So disrespectful, man.
It's different, man. Lil Ron was telling me, me and Lil Ron came here one day last week with a pair of the same Jordans on. And they had a throwback like the black, I don't know the names of all these shoes. I don't know numbers, whatever. It don't matter. Ron's was crispy. Mine weren't. Right? Now I got them. Mine was the OG joints, the original joints, and I still got them. His probably was like the second release joints. Nonetheless, his joints is crispy. I'm like, bro, how you do that? But of course, he know how. He like, all you need is this. No. Hook me up, bro. Let's go. Let's get it popping. They know all the stuff.
It's a science, man.
They know
it's
all
a science, brother.
They know all the stuff, man. We got to take a break. When we come back from break, we're going to jump into the conversation for today. Hope y'all feeling good on this here Monday. Hope y'all feeling rested and rejuvenated, and y'all had a productive but relaxing weekend, ready to go ahead and win the week. This is I Said What I Said alongside Tucson. My name is Herb Howard. Esco is behind the glass. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Where my steppers at? This is retired State Senator Ricky Hendon. This is my new song, Be My Christmas. It's on my House Party CD, produced by house music icons King Farley. It's available on my website, HollywoodHendon.com, various streaming platforms, and CDs. The album also has songs like We Getting Lit and Rona Money. Get the House Party CD in time for Christmas and New Year's Eve. This is our new song, We Getting Lit. Just in time for New Year's Eve.
WIFTBPM.
Where my steppers at? Baby, like the tree, I will be all that you need. Unwrap you underneath the mistletoe. We can sip some wine, kiss you from head to toe. Baby, don't you ever let me go. I want you to know it's alright. Wishing you'd be my boo. Can you please be my prince? Around me, wishing please can you be with me, baby, on this Christmas? Step this way, come on, baby, ride with me in my sleigh. Tonight we're gonna party, girl. It's time to play, baby. And you gon' do it on Christmas Day and go all the way. Merry Christmas, baby.
Yo, Esco. Is that Ricky on the track?
That's Ricky on the
Ricky
track.
Hollywood.
Ricky on the track. 290s finest out here, man. With the Christmas joint. Listen, I'm in a weird place with Christmas, man. It's one of my favorite holidays. I really enjoy it. I get into it. I feel festive about it. I always want a live Christmas tree and that kind of stuff. That being said, I no longer celebrate Christmas the way I did, like the way I used to. I don't think it's about this whole, all this gift giving and that kind of shit. I don't think people should, be breaking their backs to, supply gifts for all these people on this one particular day. I do think it is a day to be grateful, to reflect, to share. And it's nothing wrong with like small trinkets and stuff like that. But this idea that people like go into debt every year around this time is sad. It's unfortunate, right? It's that capitalist system that we've all fallen into that tells us, hey, we got to go out and spend all this damn money for the holidays. And it's like, I really wish we didn't do that, right? And so I've gotten to a place now where, like, even for the young people in my family, it'd be like books or that kind of shit. Celebrating Kwanzaa, observing the 7 principles, being intentional about that piece. But I don't know, man. And again, every time I have this conversation with like my family or friends, it's a valid argument, I suppose, right? And they be like, bro, you don't got kids, right? And it's like it's different for you. You don't have children, and I'm like, that is true. I do not have children, but I can't see myself changing my mind about this because I had children. I would teach my children that this is not real. This is not what's up. Especially if you're telling them that some fat white dude with a beard is coming down the chimney to bring this shit. Like, no, the fuck he's not. I don't know. I got a problem with it. Where you come in at on Christmas?
I'm going to provide like 2 stories. So, personally, I don't really give a damn. But it sounds hypocritical to say that when I just told you I found 3 pair of J's in the crib because it's the same gluttonous behavior that kind of
Christmas came early.
Solidifies why Christmas is effective. You know what I mean?
I feel you on that piece, but okay, I feel you.
But at the same time, I remember, like, so in my household growing up, man, we celebrated Christmas, but we was also, poor. Not to mean that we ain't poor today or that I'm not poor today, but it was a different context of poverty. You know what I mean? And I remember, like, it was by 14, kind of, I was making my own bread. And that was like the standard. That was the expectation.
Right.
So I remember, like, 14, my old man was like, for sure, I remember this, like, it wasn't even a conversation, but I just knew, like, the concept of Christmas was surely over.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It ain't that no more.
So maybe it was like 13 then when this happened. But I remember I got like a leather basketball And as an adult now, I look at that and I'm like, I got a leather basketball.
A leather basketball.
You know what I'm
right.
saying? But at that time, it was a very big deal for me.
Heck yeah, I
You know
understand
what I
that.
mean? And that was it. I got the leather basketball. You know what I mean? But that was enough. I was like, man, I'm the shit. I got a leather basketball.
Thanks. You
You
got
know
the
what I
authentic
mean?
joint. I'm out here.
Yeah, and I remember going to my partner's crib. That you know how you go to when we were shorties. Christmas come around, everybody out of school, you get what you get. Then you go to your homie house.
Most def.
You know what I mean? And y'all celebrate or play with or do whatever you got.
Most def.
And I went to my partner's cribs and they didn't get shit. And internally, I felt bad. Like, this is fucked up. You know what I mean? And when you, and I'm a kid at the time, so I don't have a language for it. But when you contextualize it and say, damn, you know, even though I got what is really a minute, small gift.
Right.
You know what I mean? When my partners didn't get nothing, it made me feel like shit. You know what I mean? And we really wasn't celebrating us.
Nah.
We were celebrating a false idea.
Yeah. It's how much shit can I get? How much shit can I provide for my kids, my family? How much like just stuff, right? That don't really mean nothing, right? It don't really add no real value, right? But it make us feel good, I suppose. It make the kids feel good. It make the parents feel good to be able to provide the stuff for the kids. But at the end of the day, now we in the hole for the whole first quarter of the next year about some toys, half of which is broke by now, some clothes, half of which you've outgrown already with these rapidly growing children. Like, I just think there are better ways to observe Jesus' birthday.
And it ain't even Jesus' birthday.
I know, it's
Jesus
not.
was born in summer.
I know.
But also, too, I'm going to give you some game. My old man one time told me, well, used to tell me this a lot. He was like, never marry a woman that grew up more than 8 miles away from you. And I used to be like, that don't make no damn sense. But in essence, what he was saying was, you know, marry a woman who's had similar experiences as you. Right. Because it makes it that much easier to fortify life together.
Yeah.
Right. But my wife is from out of state. Well, not out of state, but she's definitely from
outside those 8 miles.
Outside the city. You know what I mean? And she comes from a modicum of capital. You know what I mean? So when Christmas would come around, her expectation of what we were supposed to do for our children versus my expectation were worlds apart. And back to another story. My son was probably like 6 or 7. And he was playing Pop Warner football, right? Like he was begging to play Pop Warner. He really, really wanted to play Pop Warner.
Good.
And he was good at it, right? But one of the things you had to do for Pop Warner was you had to, and he played for a hood team. We was in Roseland. Like I always kind of steeped them in the neighborhood I grew up in, just so they have a different experience. So at Roseland, in order for you to get the uniforms, you know, you had to do all these. You had to sell tickets for different things. You had to do all these fundraisers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because most parents,
Because that's how it is for black
to
teams.
get the capital for the uniforms.
That's how it is
right?
for black teams.
So
like poor teams.
You're right. And I sponsored more than just him. Right. So in essence, I knew that he could get it, but I wanted him to learn a lesson.
Sure.
So I was like, no, you got to sell these candy or tickets or whatever it was at the time. I don't remember.
Right.
To pay for your own uniform.
Make it enough.
Right. You got to earn this since you won it. You know, I want to teach him a lesson in that.
Sure.
So we used to get our hair cut at a beauty salon at the time. Right. So you can imagine what a beauty salon looked like on Saturday then.
Women all through that.
Women all in there, right?
And their lives changed.
Right. And we was regular. So everybody in there knew him. He was the cute kid. You know what I mean? It was that kind of energy. Right.
Yeah.
So the day that we got the fundraiser stuff, I was like, man, we gonna get our haircuts today. You gonna get rid of this in an hour.
Hell
You gonna have your money in an hour,
Hell
right?
yeah.
So we driving from the practice field to the barbershop, and I'm prepping them how to sell. You know, here's what you're gonna say. Here's your strategy, right? Here's your script. And he's with it. He with it.
Right.
We get to the beauty salon, and he clams up. He don't want to do it, right? And he starts crying.
Sure.
Right? And all the women in there is melting.
That worked though.
They melted, right?
You just had his marketing plan messed
Look,
up.
All my money.
they all melting. Oh, baby, what you did? You ain't. And I said, the bullshit. You ain't giving him a goddamn thing.
Oh, you are a hater, bro.
No, I'm not a hater. This is a lesson in manhood.
I feel you.
Right?
But maybe that was his strategy.
No, it wasn't his strategy. He clammed up and was afraid. So we going to get beyond that shit because
Right.
you got to be aggressive enough to go get the things you want in life.
No, I agree with you 100%.
Right? So I was like, nah, fuck all that. You ain't giving him nothing. Either he's going to sell it to you or he won't have it. Period. Right? So when he really punked out, and it was close to Christmas, football season. So I said, check game, man. I'm with it. You want to punk out? Cool. I'm not finna fight you on this shit, right? But if I got to pay for your uniform, we're going to forego Christmas. So I'm thinking this would be a motivator for his ass to get up out of his feet. You understand me? So he was like, fuck Christmas. In the moment, it sounds good. I was like, yeah, tough, Tony. Okay, we'll see.
Right.
Now I'd already done Christmas.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's already done.
It's already done. But when he was like, I'm going to forego it, I'm as arrogant as you are, motherfucker. So I took all those gifts and hid them in the trunk of a car I had at the time, right? This is a true story. Just like I found them Jordans, I forgot about them gifts because I really did forego Christmas. Fuck it then. We're going to ride it out. And what's crazy about it is he never mentioned that shit again. And that put a different understanding on me. You know what I mean?
Like, not only do I not give a fuck, he don't even give a fuck.
Not only does he give a fuck, but it's laminated our relationship since that point. We both have that kind of philosophy where it's like, I'm going to stand on what the fuck I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
And fuck you.
Fuck what you talking about.
Fuck what you talking about. And it becomes a challenge because he's my child and it doesn't work out that way. It doesn't work out.
And it's like you want him to have that piece.
I want him to have it, but not
But I don't
me.
want you. Just as I taught you that move, do not use your me. I'm going to teach you this move, but you better not use your me.
But I swear to God, I sold that car maybe 3 years later and I was cleared out. And I was like, God, it was in the goddamn gift wraps. I said, this little jerk ass.
Jerk face.
Jerk face. Both of us is jerk faces.
That is absolutely hilarious, man. I remember we used to be able to open one gift at midnight. My mom would let us open up one gift at midnight, Christmas Eve. And we would always try to, figure out what the gift was. Because what we wanted to open was the new video game. So either the new Madden or the new NBA Live. Those are the games that we played growing up. Madden and Live. So we try to open up the Madden or the Live, because then if we open up the Madden or the Live, we finna play that joint clean through the night. You know what I'm saying? So we good either way. Every now and then, you fuck around and open up a DVD and be mad as shit. Okay? Mad as shit. Like you open up
watching Sean Kemp's greatest dunks over and over.
You open up this DVD, and it's obviously a movie you asked for. It's something you want to see, but just once. This ain't gonna keep us up till 6 or 7 in the morning playing the game all day because we don't want to go to sleep. We'd be pissed, bro. Pissed. But usually we'll get the games and we stay and play it all night, man. We got to take a break. When we come back from break, there's a couple of interesting stories that we want to get into as it pertains to our value sets around this Christmas thing, but just in general as well. What we doing with our money? How we feel about it, right? Is it a important resource, or is it just something that makes us feel good about ourselves that we use as a, what do you call like makeup and shit? Cosmetic, right? As we use like just as a cosmetic item to make us feel better about ourselves, or do we actually use it as a resource to get to where we want to go? This is I Said What I Said. My name is Herb. His name is Tu. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information, or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545. You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard. We have a very, very special guest, man, joining us on today's show.
Walter Beach, he's my godfather, one of two of the dopest black men I've met in my entire life.
This is how I always introduce myself. I'm black in attitude, I'm black in behavior, I'm black in belief and thought, and I'm African in spirit. I accept and acknowledge the fact of my African self being intuitively and have developed the cognitive strength to function as a black man in America. As an African black man, my hypocrisy manifests as silent rage. I must decide what my relationship to racism will be. Only I can say when and where I enter my manhood with quiet, undisputed dignity, without violence or special patronage, asking no quarters and giving no quarter. When and where I enter, I take with me my people. That's what the sovereignty that Toussaint was talking about means to me. I'm a sovereign human being. And like he was talking about in that point that we made in Amistad when we was talking about, all of our species demands to be free. They may not have the power to prevent it, but they just demands it. And that's what they do. That's what the struggle is about.
Chicago great, Simeon legend, University of Illini legend. ILL, baby! Man, flying Illini, man, that's a Dick Vitale. I don't think he could have stated it any better. NBA great. It's always great to have a Chicago basketball icon, hoop legend, the one and only Nick Anderson in the building. Nick, how you feeling, brother?
What's going on, fellas? From that day I got drafted till we are sitting here in front of each other today, I'm thankful and I'm grateful that my mom has never worked another day in her life. People don't know. I can remember the conversations that me and Benji used to have all the time, that we were going to buy our mom a big house and a pretty car. It was so unfortunate that he wasn't here to live out that dream, but I lived out the dream for me and him. As you know, Benji wore number 25. I wore number 25 my entire college career and my entire NBA career because of Benji. You think about all the guys that came out of Simeon and went down to the U of I that wore number 25 after me at the University of Illinois. And then you have to give love to Newt, Juwan Howard. He wore number 25 at Michigan. We carry that name on. That legacy is still being carried today.
It is. It absolutely
is. You see D Rose wearing 25 now. It's special. That means something to me. And that's something I will always carry with me.
The guys at Simeon that wear 25, all of the guys at Illinois, Deion Thomas, Brian Notary, all of those guys up until now, and like you said, in the league, we see Kendrick Nunn. Jabari had number 25 stitched in his shoes when he played for the Bulls.
Yes, sir.
It's a Chicago thing, man. I feel like we wear Benji, however we can represent Ben Wilson, we do it. I remember Common, one of his famous albums, I think it was One Day It'll All Make Sense or something, and he had a whole 4 bars about Ben Wilson, and it kind of just took me back. It's like anytime you hear a new Ben Wilson story, or anytime you hear the name Ben Wilson, it just resonates like none other. So I'm glad that you were able to, start that whole, and I don't even want to call it a trend, because it's definitely more than a trend,
Oh, exactly. It just carry on. One of the greats, one of the special ones. He will always be talked about. He will always be brought up in conversations somehow, some way. And because he was special. He was just a special guy, not only basketball-wise, but a human being. He was just a special dude. I still remember what I was doing and where I was at that day all that went down. I remember it like it happened yesterday. I just can't forget it.
Being outside, like across the street at the candy store or something when all of that went down.
Yeah, man, I remember it just like it was yesterday. And the way how dark it got in a few seconds, it was, just to think about it, man, it just brings a dark cloud over your head.
WIFTBPM.
What's happening, good people? We are back live from the beautiful What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. My name is Herb Howard. My co-host, his name is Toussaint Warner. Sonia Escobar is in the production studio doing what she does better than anybody else on the planet who does what she does. Appreciate y'all so much for being a part of the conversation. If you have not had an opportunity to do so, please take a quick second to share the conversation. Man, I was listening to that drop that Esco put together from On the Soil with Nick Anderson when the Bigs had him on the show.
Talking about Benji?
Yeah, talking about Benji, man.
Was you alive when Benji got killed?
Yeah, I was alive. I wasn't really. Because when he got killed, like 88, 80.
I thought it was like 84.
Well, if it was 84, then no. I was born in 86.
Yeah. It was a different energy, man. It was something, like you could feel it in the city, bro. It was different.
Yeah, no. Even if I was alive, I didn't know what was going on. You know what I'm saying? My earliest memories as far as like culture or like just knowing what's going on in terms of like sports or anything like that was probably like 90, 91 when the Bulls like start to turn that corner. I can remember that. But before then, like I don't remember much about like the 80s, not for real. So that's kind of where my piece started. But shout out to the Bigs, man. That interview was dope. They ran down a bunch
84.
of people in the history about that number of 25, right? Coming from Simeon, everybody honoring Benji's legacy by wearing number 25, especially all them cats that went down to U of I, Nick Anderson, the list goes on and on and on. Derrick Rose wore it at Memphis. He wore it at Simeon as well. Calvin Brock wore it. He wore it at Illinois too. Just a bunch of guys, man. That was a super, super dope interview. The Bigs doing their thing, man. Now the Bigs are Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Super, super dope. Get an extra day to tune in to the Bigs. So make sure y'all check out the Bigs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on the What's In It for the Black People Media Network. So we got off into a conversation about value, money, what we deem as valuable, how we see it. I don't want to say mismanaging it, right? But I do want to say like overvaluing it, like putting it in the space where it is above all other things. Love, loyalty, it's above all of that shit, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, you see it play out in many, many things. There's a couple of pieces that you have pulled up. Let me go ahead and swing one of them on the screen and see if we can't read it with the fam. All right, cool. Try and get the stuff out the way.
Yeah, so I'll basically read it, though.
Yeah.
It pop up when it pop up.
It's up.
So it says, flex culture, is it killing us, right? We live in a world in which status is defined by wearing logos, driving sports cars, listening, using AirPods, and being able to afford the latest. Sneaker drop. This is flex culture. It's keeping the middle class living paycheck to paycheck. Let's start celebrating those who invest, who save money, who have simple clothes, and provide for their family.
Yeah, but people don't.
So I think this is interesting in so many different ways, right? If you just look at the image, right?
Right.
The guy has on a Supreme hoodie. I don't know what kind of jacket that is, but he's definitely the blackest character in the photo.
And he's Asian.
Is he Asian?
Yes.
But he definitely he looks black, right? And everybody behind him is white and Asian. Everybody, right?
Looks like Blackanese or something like that.
So Blackanese or whatever, but black. He's
right.
The one that he's the character in the front of forefront of the photo.
For sure.
Right. And even in the language, right? So Celine was talking about language earlier. Flex culture, right? That's a black connotation. You understand me?
Yeah.
No one else is talking about flex. You're not gonna hear flex culture in any other ethnic group that I would assume you would hear from.
True.
Right. So the connotation is attaching it to blackness. Mm-hmm. And I agree with that, right? Because who the fuck else is trying to flex on somebody?
That's us.
Right? Now, but you still need, in my opinion, a deeper understanding. Why is it so essential that we flex on one another?
Because we don't feel no fucking value for real.
That's one.
Everybody else is already solidified and secure in who they are just for being who they are.
That's one.
We are trying to find that shit in outside sources.
And because when you start looking at the paradigm of equity in America, we have the least. So that's the only person you can flex on.
I can't shit on nobody
You
but
can't shit on nobody but each other.
Mm.
You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Bill Gates don't wear none of this shit, but you can't shit on him.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? It's a different conversation.
Yeah.
So, but even outside of that context, I think it's interesting too where it says we live in a world in which status is defined by wearing logos, driving sports cars, listening, using AirPods, and being able to afford the latest sneaker drop, right? Mm-hmm. I think if you operate outside of just those cultures that they deem as the desires, right? Mm-hmm. AirPods, driving a sports car, wearing logos, right? That's norm. That's the norm of most cultures. You understand? So if you go to, what's the mall, Southwest? It's like
Woodfield? No, not Woodfield.
Whatever that is, right?
Whatever, go.
But when you go in any of them situations, the vast majority of people there are white folks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this is a normalized behavior in America, right? They go to Starbucks every day and spend $8 on a cup of coffee. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same context.
Sure.
It's normalized American living, right? But because we are outside the fray in regards to our equity in this system, it looks weird for us to achieve or strive to be normal. Because that's normal in America. That's what America is based on.
Orland.
Yeah.
Mall. Thanks,
That's
OG.
the norm in
Nicole, we
America.
appreciate you.
But when we strive to be normal in America, we look outside the fray. You know what I mean? So people always attack people like, me and you have had this conversation before, and you was on the other side of the argument, and you was like, people should save their gym shoe money and go invest in something else. And I'm saying that gym shoe money doesn't quantify for going to get something else. You know what I mean? Gym shoe money is normalized money. Right? So just context, when I was a child, Jordans was like $125. Right? That was the starting price. And that was outrageous at the time.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. Right? That
Right.
was crazy at the time. But what I saw or deemed as $120, how I valued $125 versus how my son values $125, worlds apart. $125 to him is like $25.
It's video game money. I'll spend this on
it's cheap.
tokens or whatever the hell
It's nothingness, right?
How they play for video games these days.
Which goes into the context of how I talk about how wealth is calcified, right? It changes how you view things. That's why the Cutlass that was my desire changes to the Bentley, which would be the Shorty's desire today.
Exactly.
Because the value is different now.
That shoe is now $250.
Because the wealth is calcified.
And it's come out 4 times.
And what we value is that's flex culture for the real wealthy. You know what I mean? It changed the context. But my problem with this is that it puts this culture, it kind of anchors it into black culture. And that's just not true. This is the normalized American culture.
It is.
You know what I mean?
No, it has been normalized. It is the expectation, right? It is the expectation that you have to have on this brand, this shirt, this label, this belt, this shoe. That is the expectation now. Even when I was growing up in the 90s, it was like, yo, yeah, you fresh as hell to have that on. Now it's like, you just a piece of shit if you don't have it on. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't about you being fresh. It's about like shitting on other people. And it's a different thing, man. But what happens is it becomes so normal. It becomes such a part of the regular existence of people because now you see it's in your face every single day, every minute of the day. You got your phone, you got social media, you're going to see it every day. These are the cool shoes. This is the cool jacket. This is the cool belt. Everything else is substandard. Everything else is subpar, and everything else makes you somehow less than, right? And so now you get everybody with the same thing going, same aspirations, and it becomes this even more of this cookie cutter thing. I can't remember the last time I can't remember the last time I looked at somebody just on some fashion shit. It was like, yo, that's unique. Like that's a style all to themselves.
But my only argument is that behavior says it's not unique to the black community, right? It's not. We tend to think it is, but it's not. So, right, we don't quantify it when we look at the wealthy class of men who wear Ferragamo shoes.
Same shit.
We don't look at them when they put on Brooks Brothers suits and have that same kind of connotation, but it's the same shit, right? We don't look at the Ivy League students who all wear the polo get-ups, but it's the exact same shit. They just have a different style marker than, let's say, our community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And what I'm saying is that addiction to gluttonous marketing strategies is normalized American behavior.
Sure.
Right? So when it comes to Christmas, and we attach value to more, right? Just getting more. We attach our happiness to getting more. That's why the system of America even works, right? Marketing creates a desire. Desire creates a behavior. The behavior is to go spend your money.
Yeah.
The money gives your ass a boost of dopamine, so now you feel good about the money you spent. You feel good about yourself.
100%.
All the 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long that
100%,
lasts.
100%.
You know what I mean? And then until that dopamine drops and you want some more shit.
Right.
That's why shopping can become an addiction.
Yeah, because your default setting is insufficient to yourself. Right?
Absolutely.
You feel insufficient as your normal self. And so all these other things just make me feel good. It gives me this little bit of a boost for a little bit of time.
Even in your first statement, when you said your homies, when you argue the concept of Christmas to your partners who have children, they say, well, you don't have children. Well, it's the same concept. I feel bad because I'm letting my children down. Why am I letting my children down when they have all the things they need in the first place?
Because I either have not or I am unwilling to explain to them their actual purpose here, their actual reason for existing here.
Well, I don't know.
Against the standard that has been set for them in, capitalist American society. Like,
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's kind of like that. And until you fuck with yourself, like real heavy, you're gonna continue to be able to be manipulated by these things. And I'm not saying don't have nice shit, right? I like we talking about your shoes, my shoes. Like I like nice stuff too, right? And and it's fine, but just it's how you view those things, right? How you view those things. Are those things making you? Are those things enhancing you? Are those just the stuff I like? So this is what I get, right?
But I'm gonna go back into a statement that Beach made a couple weeks ago. You cannot revolt against that in which you love. And that's real shit.
Pause that. We got to unpack that, man. We got to take a break. When we come back, you cannot revolt against that in which you love. We love this capitalism shit, don't we?
We do.
We'll be right back. This is I Said What I Said. Herb and 2 here with you till 6.
WIFTV PM.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
WIFTV PM.
It was a clear black night, a clear black moon. Sometimes it made me think I'm Warren G. You ever feel like Warren G?
Warren G was trash.
Warren G was trash?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
He was trash. He discovered Snoop, so I'll give him that. But other than that, you know what I'm saying?
He got the classic song, though. All you need is one classic, one timeless joint.
Yeah, he was trash.
He got one timeless joint that transcends all eras.
Hoochie Coochie La 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 was a classic, too. What's the dude's name? I don't know that
dude's
name. But he's trash, too. So that argument, fuck all that. He's trash.
It was bars in that song. What's the song I'm thinking of with him and Nate
Warren
Dogg?
G?
Yeah, him and Nate Dogg. What was it called? Regulate?
Yeah.
It was called Regulate.
Warren G, what's the shorty that's really popular today with Tatiana?
I don't know.
Blue somebody. My son be playing his trash. But his whole claim to fame is that he raps off beat. Warren G was that first guy. How you a producer and can't catch the beat?
But it's a few people that's been like that.
I hate that.
Warren G was like that. Today, G Herbo is like that.
And he is. That irritates
It
the shit out
bothers
of me too.
I want to like G Herbo's
MC
music
Brains,
so bad.
Coochie La La La. That's who that was.
Appreciate you, Phil, for coming through with that. Useless facts. Useless facts of the day. Like, who sang Uchi Coochie? Why do you know that, Phil? Like, I hope you Googled that. Blueface.
Blueface. That dude that. Yeah,
that's the shorty with all the tattoos and shit on his face?
I don't know.
I guess all the shorties like that.
He grabbing the front of his pants. It's
crazy. I've seen the dance.
Yeah, he's trash.
He's trash.
Trash. But my son loves that trash.
I want to like G Herbo so bad because he's from OVs. I want to like him because we share a name. Although that irritates me a lot. Like people like because he's famous. I'm not. And so people always be like, "Oh, G Herbo." I'm like, dude is like younger than me. Don't make me out somebody younger than me. But anyway, I want to be his fan so bad, but he raps off beat. I don't like it. I do not like it. Every time I try, every time he drops something new, I'm like, let me listen to it.
But I will say this about the little fella Herb because he's my son's favorite rapper, right? And he, Mick managed him, so I've been introduced to the little kid a couple times.
Yeah.
Mick, because me and Mick got in an argument a long time ago. I was like, man, dude is trash, Mick. But he was like, no, you gotta listen. You gotta listen. So my son got into it, but he convinced me to actually pay attention a little bit. He talking about something, man. He got something to say. You're right, but it's just the presentation, the offbeat stuff. I can't.
I like him. I like
it's just
his message.
Not for me. It's for
like
the shorties.
him.
You know what I'm saying? It's just not for me.
I like him. I don't like his rap style. It bothers me.
Yeah.
But the worst person to ever do that, Silk the Shocker, bro.
Oh, he might be the trashiest rapper of all time.
Silk the Shocker is the worst famous rapper ever. Ever. Like all he did was talk on the track. He literally talked straight through the song.
He was trash, but just back to
I
the
ain't saying
conversation.
you need to him, but you need to like roll with me.
Back to the conversation we were just having, though, right? The American system of marketing can convince you to like anything.
These are facts.
You know what I mean? Think about how radio programming works. It's called programming for a reason. It programs your mind, right? So a song could come on the radio, and the first time you hear it, you'd be like, "Oh, this is horrible."
Oh yeah.
2 weeks later, you know every word to the song.
Oh yeah.
And you bob. Next week after that, you bob your head.
Plus, he was with the right team. Like he was the
winning
hottest
team.
click, right? You know what I'm saying? So you rolling with them, it's gonna look good for you. You know what I'm saying? The fact that Maze is on What's in It for the Black People, that looks good for him, right? We on the squad, the
I'm
bigs
a
on the
hip-hop
squad,
Republican.
that helps Maze out. You know what I'm saying?
Right. We are the best.
Yeah,
I get it.
It helps Maze out to be like, yeah, I'm on the same team with Herb too.
Steve
Gino,
said everybody on No Limit was trash box to me. I agree, Steve, but
everybody?
Yeah, I agree. But listen, No Limit was kind of popping at the time I was in college.
I came in with my dick in my hand.
And me and my roommate would have these arguments all
was
day
at the first
long,
line of your
because
verse.
he always wanted to play that trash. I hated that shit.
Let me see. Was everybody on No Limit trash? C Murder was Huff. And although F Them Other Niggas was always a song that was going to get the party sent up. Every single time that came on, it was going to be a fight.
Mia X was probably the best rapper on No Limit.
Mia X was probably the best rapper on the. I want to say they had one. Is Gino still here? Gino got to tell me. Gino will give me one that was decent from that camp.
Yeah,
C Murder was
Mia
trash.
X.
Mystical wasn't trash. Mystical wasn't trash.
Gee, my daddy used to like Mystical, so that speaks values. That's trash.
Mystical wasn't trash. I just can't believe he started that one verse like that. Like that's like you start the verse like that.
Like what?
I came here with my dick in my hand.
Yeah, I wouldn't know any reference points for No Limit bars.
You've heard that. I
heard it, but
don't make me leave with my foot in your ass. Be cool.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to repeat a No Limit bar at all. Maybe a hook I might know, but
Master
a bar
P
I'd never.
Master P was Huff.
I support the hustle though.
The hustle.
I support the hustle.
Was great. The movies. How about like I got the hook up?
I support the movies.
I got the hook up.
I support the movies in the sense that he was kind of he was the first.
Yeah, he was putting up his own dough to make these movies.
I salute that. Yeah, I salute that. Right. I got the hookup was a classic hood film.
Mac was the best.
Yeah, they was all trash though.
Then Snoop came for a minute.
Shit, Snoop was even trash when he was on No Limit.
He was.
His trash was like the standard over there.
They was
what
Huff.
I mean?
They was Huff.
But
so
same
Cash
time,
Money over
Snoop
No Limit.
said that's the first time he made the bulk of his bread.
Yeah, because he was over there with Jug getting jerked.
Maybe because he was getting jerked, but also you still got to put it in the context that was the worst music he ever put out. And I don't know the dynamics of the business of it, right? It could be one or two things. Like
with the hottest cap, everything we putting out is selling right now.
But so when you start thinking about marketing in general, what they do is they dumb products down, right? Because they want everybody to be able to digest the information. So they kind of build a product around like a 3rd, 4th grade education because they deem that everybody can relate at a 3rd or 4th grade level.
Sure.
Right? So maybe that trash ass shit Snoop was putting out was really selling more because most motherfuckers was like,
it was dumbed down.
I finally get it.
I finally hear Snoop. I finally hear what he's been talking about all these years. Beats by the Pound helped them a lot. Facts. I mean, they had the tracks, right? They was on one, man. I don't think they was Huff. I hated
Huff as hell.
I hated what's his name? He was the only one I really hated. Silk the Shocker. He was awful. Couldn't stand that dude.
No, he was awful.
So definitely Cash Money over No Limit.
I think absolutely.
On the music?
Absolutely.
This was pre-Raw Wayne though. Like Wayne wasn't raw yet.
So shout out to Chicago too. And I know we way off topic at this point.
Yeah, we wilding. I don't know how we got here.
But there's an article in the Vibe magazine from years ago where Wayne, because I don't, people consider Wayne to be, special. I don't necessarily consider him to be special.
I do.
Right?
When he's on it.
I don't knock him, but I don't consider him to be special.
Okay.
But there's an article in the Vibe magazine from years ago when he kind of started to emerge as being special, right? Mm-hmm. And what most people don't recognize is that at that same time, my brother Mick Halstead was signed to Cash Money, right? And they asked Wayne in the article, like, who's your greatest musical influence? Because they assumed he was going to say Jay-Z. And he was like, nah, this cat from Chicago named Mick Halstead really helped me shape my lyrical whatever. You know what I mean? How I approach writing rhymes. And yeah, that was big.
Because he was a pen over there. Like even if he wasn't like writing it bar for bar, again, his influence and how he did it, right?
I'll make my favorite rapper of all time.
Yeah. Then they had Gilly over there too. Gilly was writing a lot for them at that time. But Baby was jerking everybody. They was all getting jerked for nothing. We was talking about that with the bigs. What was that? Friday, Saturday? Whenever we was Friday, we was talking about that with the bigs about how Cash Money was. But anyway, man, there's another piece that you had wanted to show. Let me pull that up on the screen right quick. Okay, there that is. Go ahead and read that if you will.
So this just was a tweet, but it was getting some traction. And it says, it's a sister named April Brasher. I guess that's how you say that. Okay. It says, as a black realtor, I've been seeing a very uncomfortable trend when it comes to home buying. A serious lack of single black male home ownership. Single black women are purchasing homes in droves, but our men aren't. This is not a criticism of my brothers. It's a very deep concern. And this goes back to the concept of capitalism and Christmas and all those things. And when you start to, even the conversation with my man with the candlelight and telling the sister that she wasn't worth shit because she couldn't get a high caliber man.
Sure.
And his quantification for high caliber man was based on
what
him being able to make $100,000 a year or something like that. It was a standard based in capitalism for sure. You know what I mean? It was like the clothes he wore, the kind of check he was getting and all that shit, right? And the problem when we create our value system steeped in these capitalist values and then we're being locked out of the capitalist system itself, it's like oxymoronic when you create a value system based on that, right? So if you know the real numbers, man, and we talk about the numbers often, to be in the top 1% of black wealth, and that's wealth, it's not income. To be in the top 1% of black wealth, I think you need like $350,000. So that's $350,000 in assets. Now that's not even liquid. You know what I mean? So that's not a lot. So having 350 puts whoever has 350 is in the same quadrant as Michael Jordan and Oprah Winfrey.
Sure.
Like that's how small the 1% is.
Right, that's how few.
Right. It's a goddamn ridiculous number. To be in the top 1% of income earners is very similar. It's like 120,000 or something like that. So 120,000 gets you in the top 1% of income earners, but the vast majority of us fall below like 50,000. I think it's like 60 to 70% of black people fall below $50,000 or $60,000. And I think when you really get to the stats of that, that's a dual income adult household. So in the 50 to 60 range, we're usually we're bottoming out at like 35,000 essentially, at $30,000 a piece. You know what I mean? So when that becomes the value set, it creates a world where we have only transactional behaviors because, again, wealth is calcifying, right? And as inflation rises, we can't compete. We can't even survive. You know what I mean? So trying to find a one-bedroom, you know, there's been a statistic or a story that's being played out across the country, whereas if you asking the question is if you're an employee at a minimum wage job, where can you find a single one-bedroom apartment to live anywhere in America? You even with a full-time job, you can't afford a one-bedroom apartment anywhere in America because wealth is calcified. So that little $7, $8, even the fight for 15 conversation, right? The way inflation works, by the time they raise the number to 15 nationally, this shit won't matter. It'll be like below, 7. You know what I mean?
Right.
It won't matter.
Right.
So it's a misunderstanding of money, one. And it creates this oxymoronic view of what value really is.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
That's real.
So while you chasing Christmas or while the dude is telling the lady she needs to chase her own level,
right?
Or when he deems he's at a certain level for having XYZ number, $100,000 a year in 1985, 1995 might have been a lot. In 2020, it's below middle class.
It's below the poverty line.
It's low.
Like
you know what I'm saying? But they don't adjust the numbers. So the poverty line today is still at like 18 grand or something like that. I think that's the poverty line. 18. I'm for some reason 27 is coming into my head too.
But what you gonna do with that in this society?
But when you look at it and you juxtapose it to what shit cost,
what
you
gonna
can't
do with
survive off of that.
That's not real,
right? Like I said, you can't even get this one bedroom apartment,
right?
So we gotta adjust even the poverty line because the way wealth calcifies and the way inflation adapts to that calcification. You got to change the fucking numbers.
It's the way the few people at the top continue to hoard all the resources. I have no desire for it to trickle down. I have no desire for anybody else to have any of it because that means I'll have a little bit less of it. I need $113 billion. $103 billion does me no good. Fuck y'all. Fuck your $15. Take the 7 and go on about your business. What's up?
But to the point that this sister made in this tweet, though, now it brings into the foray of gender and how black men are really being left out of that capitalist conversation.
So let's figure out where that line is being drawn, what those differences may be on that side of it. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll dive into that conversation and more. This is I Said What I Said. We'll be right back.
WIIFTV PM.
Greetings, family.
I am Salim Muwakil, and I welcome you to Muwakil's World. I'm going to chop it up with Dr. Lance Williams, professor at Jacob Carruthers Center for Inner City Studies, and one of the most knowledgeable scholars of Chicago's street organizations.
During the doo-wop era, you wouldn't be doing no doo-wop about what you was doing in the street. That was improper. What made rap so unique was that for the first time, this is how we actually are living, especially at the bottom. So what happens is it becomes so popular because it's so raw. And ultimately, rappers realize that this is what sells and this is what the industry wants. So even guys who don't authentically have those experiences and young women are rapping about it and having success. And after years of now this happening, it becomes known that, hey, this dude ain't really no real gangster. You know, this is a studio gangster. And what it did was music lost credibility because people thought they were listening to real gangsters rap. The sales of the music, which basically was being consumed by white suburban youth, this was their way of, it was a voyeuristic way of experiencing the hood, which they've always been fascinated with, without actually putting your life in danger. So you can listen to it, but once they found out, oh, these dudes ain't real, then even they stopped buying it. What's going on in the streets today? Because what the industry did was they realized, hey, the studio gangster thing ain't gonna work. So guess what? Let's go get some real gangsters that got the real credibility. But you know, when Chief Keef and these guys, so what we have expressed in the music scene today when you deal with either, you know, trap down stuff, but particularly drill music is the hot music. That's right. Nationally. Right? And internationally. And internationally, right? Which started right here on 63rd. O Block. So it's a shooting culture. So that's what they're rapping about. And that's what is hot, right? And so we saw the tragedy.
Fratricide is hot.
Yeah. That's what the tragedy of King Von, right? Of him, you know, he's a real dude. Now what happens is, because that's the model of success, everybody is following that. So everybody wants to be a shooter now. And what it's doing is it's driving a lot of the violence. In any culture, your music and your entertainment is a part of your cultural expression. So whenever you can have an extended period of time of a particular type of music that's having influence, it becomes a part of your culture. That's what Kwabena is saying in terms of his activism. I'm saying basically these radio stations are helping to produce a culture that's leading to the death and destruction of the black community so that they could sell, commodify, you know, their merch, right? But, you know, we losing a lot of little brothers and sisters in the streets because of this, the way they think about things, how they see themselves, which they get from the music. Now, people are like, well, that's crazy that they're being influenced by music. They should be influenced by the values of their families. Ideally, yes, but the reality of the society that we live in is who has the biggest voice. And we know the media is the biggest voice in terms of ideals in the society that we live in.
If that fratricidal motif is being absorbed primarily by white listeners, who's the primary audience, yes, why aren't they exhibiting this kind of behavior?
Because, first of all, it's not their identity.
That's why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
Little homie, I ain't worried about nothing, I'm good. I'm the kid that went to school in the suburbs, brought the education back to the hood, nigga. Shout out to Ace Da Vinci coming through with that track. It is one of my favorite songs. It is called Imago Dei. It is featured on the intro video for the best show on What's In It with the Black People Media. This is I Said What I Said alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. Thank y'all so very, very much for choosing to be a part of the conversation. We are keenly aware that you could be doing anything else in the world right now. You could be doing absolutely nothing. You could be taking a nap. But y'all chose to be a part of this conversation, and we appreciate that. We appreciate each and every one of y'all for being here with us. Also here with us, joining us live in the studio for second broadcast in a row.
Don B.
Don
What's the B
B
stand
is
for?
in the building. What's the B stand for?
Bullshit.
Don Bullshit.
Don's bullshit.
Bullshit boogie. I came here with my dick in my hand. Don't make me put my foot in your ass. Be cool.
Be cool.
Trinity dog.
Don't worry about how I'm ripping shit.
Oh, bars. Bars. I see you out here.
You must have went to school at Xavier or something. You was in New Orleans when they was playing that garbage ass shit.
Nope, I was right here in Chicago.
You was a big fan of that trash shit, huh?
Backing that ass up.
Hey.
That was a good record.
That was Cash Money, though.
I'll vouch for
Cash Money
that was
record
Cash
taking
Money?
over for the 9-9
Yeah,
and
No Limit
the
don't get no
2000s.
wins. I'm sorry. They
Make them say,
Yeah, they ass out here. No Limit gets no wins.
Nah.
B is for Boatman. My maiden.
Oh, we knew that.
Yeah,
we thought you was coming with something
we ain't
better
honoring
than
that shit, though.
No,
We're going
I'm
to make
gonna,
up something better than
I'm just going to
that.
say what it means.
The bullshit is much better.
Yeah, Don bullshit.
Hashtag Puma $35 out.
Puma 35 box. Yo, Boosie, that's hilarious. 35 box.
I should have trademarked box, G. That
box is
my term, G, for
that
years.
box is pretty. That box is pretty good.
Now it's getting popularized.
It was in one of my first jokes.
Yeah.
Box.
Mm-hmm.
What was the joke?
The joke was about how the cable guy comes over and you don't think he gonna look like shit, so you just open the door like, what's up, nigga? And he find you like, oh shit, you gonna put on your prom dress and you come back.
Your prom dress.
And you come back like, what's up with these boxes you snatching?
That was one of the first jokes. Okay.
That joke is not responsible for your success.
Shit was hilarious. You guys giggled.
You've been all around the world telling jokes, but it wasn't because of that one.
Yeah, she removed that one from the stand-up.
It was not because of that one. Yeah, stupid. I dig it. So what's going on? How you feeling today?
I feel amazing.
Appreciate you falling back through here.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me.
Indeed.
Y'all got any lotion?
Nah, I'm a man. Don't carry that shit with me.
Men supposed to have lotion too.
Nah, that's...
Look at my hands. Look like
They're a little ashy, like you been slapping bricks.
Yeah, it do. Look like you was working on the car.
I walked here just like this.
Changed the transmission before you came up here?
The oil.
Hey, I'll put a carburetor on there for you. Bring me a sit packet, I'll put a carburetor on there.
Slide from up under the cars.
Oh my goodness, Don, you got children. How
do
you observe Christmas?
How do I observe Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Skirt.
Look at Esco came through.
Let's go for the win. Oh shit.
With the WD-40.
You used to that.
Look at that.
You used to that.
Don showing his skills.
Oh, y'all wiped it up?
It was almost in my face.
I'm so mad y'all wiped it up that soon.
Damn.
You lucky. I was finna
Welcome back
zoom
to the
in
party.
on
I'm
that.
gonna get one of these.
Been a while, huh?
Yeah. Thank you, Esco. Woo.
Wait a minute.
Almost forgot how much you like that.
Oh man, look at that. That's so cute.
Got the Monica Lewinsky now.
Yeah.
Monica Lewinsky all on my blouse.
I did it.
Negro said, do light-skinned cats get ashy?
Light-skinned cats get ashy.
Let me tell you something, man.
What's
I'm
wrong
black
with
as
him?
shit. I don't know.
How would you know, right?
How would I know? I'm dark-skinned around this motherfucker.
White people get ashes. Huh?
I don't know nothing about what white people do.
That is
At all.
absolutely hilarious.
Stupid.
Yeah,
All right.
super.
Yeah. Well, I don't. What we celebrate Christmas.
Christmas, how? Like y'all do like you like go out and like buy a bunch of gifts and wrap them and all that. You tell them Santa Claus came down the chimney. How do y'all observe
No,
Christmas?
my sons think Daddy is Santa.
Okay, that's better than imaginary white man.
Seeing as though they're 7 and 4, I think I probably overdid maybe a first couple of new mom type Christmas type shit. And then I would thrift it up, like go to the thrift stores. You know, sometimes right around Christmas, they put dope, gifts out. I did that, but now, and I would I don't know. They just would get a few gifts.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean.
And like right now, they get 3.
Okay. I dig that.
I'm doing 1. They daddy is doing the rest of that shit. I'm doing a one that they can share. You get a big gift that they can share. It's not that. They get shit out.
But they daddy in the Army, though, so he definitely been socialized
He's a Marine.
to, go with whatever America tells him to do.
Truth.
Wait, who? They daddy?
Yeah.
Truth.
That's part of the
He's
military.
an American robot.
Yeah, that's how the
He's
military works.
But he doesn't do he doesn't do Halloween.
Yeah, that's not an American thing.
He really
per se.
He really,
But in a lot of ways, though, not doing Halloween is an American thing.
Right.
And I'm going to say it in the sense that Christians deem that as being like a demonic
That's
holiday.
what I'm saying. Halloween ain't it's not an American thing per se. That's what I'm
the
saying.
way we celebrate it is with the ghouls and goblins and such.
And gluttony and greed. Come get some motherfucking junk
Get
food.
some candy. But let me see. Christmas is it is what
Halloween's
it is.
my favorite holiday.
It's not my favorite, but
What's your favorite holiday?
Thanksgiving.
Why?
Simply
Just to
because of
eat?
the gathering.
Yeah, that's
and
real.
I dig
So as a young man, Halloween was my favorite.
Yeah,
Is
Halloween is still
a
it for me.
holiday?
I would assume so.
Yeah,
Well, how do we
Halloween is a
quantify
holiday.
holidays? It's something that the whole nation
guess it is on
celebrates.
the calendar.
If it's one day that everybody observes, it's a holiday.
Well,
Why is Halloween your favorite holiday, her?
I like the parties. I like the dressing up. I like the
It's
parties and the
humorous.
dressing up.
It's fun. My birthday is fine.
Yeah, me too. That's why I liked it too.
I like the parties and the dressing up too.
I think when I was a young man, women tend to show their true colors on Halloween, and you kind of appreciate that.
Use a hoe. Oh, use a hoe.
Halloween hasn't been that fun though the last few years. I've been like,
Well, I've been out the game. I wouldn't know.
That's like an excuse for
I was
everybody.
Princess Peach and
Good
shit.
answer.
Yeah.
I've been like one of the PJ Masks.
No, I like to go out. I like
This
to go
last
all out
week.
and get dressed up. One time I went to some like costume like rental place. Spent way too much money renting a costume for one day, but I enjoyed the hell out of the costume.
Yeah, I didn't never do it like that. I just got creative.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it. But yeah, I definitely overdid it one year on some wild shit.
I just
went to
do.
some like boutique costume place and tried on like 50 different costumes, settled on one, and
then your cable
and
got
it's
cut
like,
off. 'cause
Like
you
that'll
bought the
be.
costume.
I was like that'll be what? I was like, oh shit. Well, okay then.
Don legitimately lived in New York, right? So that's that Brooklyn shit, right? That's the value of Chicago. I'm put you on game. You ever notice how on the East Coast that most of the college educated cats on the East Coast go to like Ivy League schools? You ever notice that shit? Because they do. It's interesting to me.
A
It's
lot of them went to the HBSBSUCs.
HBCUs,
Uh-huh.
right?
BS.
But there's a lot of, in regards to like the black populace, most of the Ivy League graduates are from the East Coast, right? And you would think that, hence what Ivy League kind of represents, those would become like the leaders of our community because of what Ivy League represents. But when they from New York, they really don't. Now they get high end jobs, but it's just again about quantification of how wealth calcifies, right? Because the price of living is so high in New York, those motherfuckers never really get, even though they got all their education, they don't really have the access to take the risk on doing some shit outside of whatever the corporation says to do, right? Hence why Chicago is like the shit, because you have that access, right? You can take a risk because the cost of living isn't so high.
Yeah, and there's a certain level of freedom here, right? We don't
In
feel-
comparison.
I'm confused.
And that's how you picked out your costume, right?
Because you went to Ivy League.
Exactly.
I don't know.
What you mean?
Precisely.
Why are you confused?
A lot of brothers in New York weren't even from New York.
I don't think that's the comparison I'm making.
And then they just went to college, not necessarily Ivy League.
So what I'm
It's
saying
hard to
is,
get in Ivy League. I can't imagine just all niggas from New York going.
when
to
you
Ivy
look
League.
at the
That's New York
statistics
niggas. They don't even
of
go
black
outside.
people that go to Ivy League
who's
schools, the
going to
vast
Ivy?
majority
Oh, yeah.
of them come from East Coast
Coast.
cities,
that makes sense.
right? But because the cost of living is so high, those guys are not the guys that turn out to be who you would deem Ivy League turning out. You know what I mean? Like they
Like,
might
is they
be.
used to spending that much money or what? I don't.
I'm not understanding the question.
Those guys
Don, this ain't all that difficult.
get the corporate jobs, but
I
they
get it.
don't leave.
She needs a green juice.
She needs a green juice. This ain't that difficult.
It is. I
Did you just
know-
wake up with some shit?
I
Are
know
you high?
black men in my life, in my Black in America, those guys buy homes. They might be condos or townhomes, not necessarily houses, but that wasn't true. That little tweet.
No, it's true.
True for me. In
So
my
that's
bubble.
anecdotal. In regards to the largest picture, though, in regards to the data, we don't. Right? In regards to the
So
data.
where are y'all living?
Who, me? Right now? Currently?
Black men that since single black men don't buy homes. What are they living with? Their moms and dads? They living with biddies? What?
I would assume so.
Even apartments, right?
Or renting, yeah. I
Or
would assume
renting.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not it's again, wealth is calcifying, and we're being left out of the conversation. We ain't got no bread. That's just what it is. That's the real
Black men?
numbers. No bread. Black people, but black men essentially. You disagree with that?
I mean, my black man in America is different. This brother's got coins.
What do you mean? You're a black man, you said?
Yeah, the ones I roll with.
The ones you roll with. Well, you on a certain kind of scene though, right? You was just telling us the other day you did a show with Ashley Larry, right? Ashley Larry is in the entertainment industry, and not only just in the entertainment industry, like he's being successful in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
So I would assume that his peer group is the average person's peer group. They at the same level or
when
close to.
When we had these conversations, it's not necessarily about like these individual experiences, right? But it's like the overall, the
Collectively.
totality, the average.
Right,
the
that's
mean,
what I said
right?
is anecdotal.
Tucson lost $1,000 worth of sneakers that he just found this morning, right? So
It wasn't $1,000.
He lost them.
Don't put that on my jacket.
Did you bet it?
It was
No,
800.
they were in his house.
It was $800.
Right. He lost $1,000 worth of sneakers. So we're not talking about everybody's individual experience, but overall, on average, I think that's the average black male experience to be homeowners and financially independent.
I think
on
so.
average. All right, we're gonna dig into that when we get back from this break. Don B is in the studio with me and two. This is I Said What I Said. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Minding our black-owned business. I have a good friend with us this morning. I'm so excited. Jonathan Swain is here. KimBarkBeverage.com. We tend to talk about business a lot. We both are in family businesses. Was this the plan? Because you are second generation business owner.
Yeah. No, actually, I'll talk about it from my father's perspective, and I'll talk about it from my perspective. His perspective, he did not want me to be in this business. The liquor business has a sordid history. They call it a sin business. I mean, it's less that now, but it had a very sordid history. He didn't want me to do this. He wanted me to go off to school. My father was the first person to fire me at 9 years old. I was supposed to be at work at 11 o'clock, and I showed up 5 minutes late, walked me outside, and fired me. And I'll never be late again. So I appreciate him for that. I walked home. My mother said, well, what happened? I said, Dad fired me. What happened? I was late. He said, well, you got fired. You're late. You can't be late. Told you to get up and leave. My side of it, in many ways, I have a very unique rearing experience in that I've never seen my father work a job. So when I was born, my dad was an entrepreneur. Growing up, I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to be in business doing something, controlling my own destiny in some ways. In particular, my father's generation relative to us, there's not a lot of information transfer about how that works. And there's not a lot of context. It's kind of, I'm going to keep you away from the struggles I had so you don't have them. But in not seeing the struggles, you don't know how to get through the struggles. But as I've gotten older and we developed a relationship and talked about it, I began to understand a lot of the bumps and the bruises and the challenges and what makes entrepreneurship and business ownership not for the weak and weary. All the success I've had in business has been a function of with my parents. As fortunate as I am, and people look to my business story, there is no business story but for them and what they did. I mean, my dad was the first black business owner in Hyde Park in the 1970s. Hyde Park, though it's in welcoming and inclusive now, wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of stories that he would tell us about the challenges that he had being a black-owned business in Hyde Park back in the 1970s. That success comes from their legacy ultimately.
WIFTBPM.
Live from What's in It for the Black Media Studio. You're listening to I Said What I Said.
Wait, what did you say?
I said you're listening to I Said What I Said.
I just said that.
I know you just said that.
That's what I just said.
That's what I'm saying to you.
Exactly what he just said.
With Herb Howard and Toussaint Werner.
That's about one of the nicest things you ever said.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Lord have mercy.
What's happening, good people? We are back from the beautiful What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said alongside Toussaint Werner. My name is Herb Howard. Joining us live in studio is none other than Don B. She has her ejaculating lotion bottle alongside her. Please keep that squirt over there.
You don't like it?
That's a good brand,
I thought
right?
you like squirters.
I do. I don't have a problem with squirters. But that thing, like, ejaculated on you. That wasn't...
It was so much fun.
Good quality.
Here's a theory. Let's do that home ownership.
All right, come on. What's the theory?
This is my theory. It's not yet documented, but it'll be in the next couple days. The reason why it's more black women buying houses than black men is because black men are divorcing these bitches and they got to go out and get their own house and they keeping the other house. So they not buying it. We are.
Okay.
Said what I said.
You're going to stop bringing your personal shit up in this studio. Okay?
It's real talk, though.
So you think...
I had to look. I'm like, okay, now I do have a few female friends that close on homes. And it's literally because they got a divorce. And they went and got a home for her and her kids.
Okay. Robin said something that caught my eye that I know you disagree with. I forgot what it was. Okay, it says black people have money. Black people just have their priorities out of order. That's a conversation that you and I have had several times. In fact, you referenced it earlier. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I completely disagree. And that's what I mean is that we don't understand the lack of wealth we have in our community. It's a different conversation. So when I say that the top 1% of black wealth, and again, I want to quantify that this is not income. top 1% of black wealth is $350,000 to be in the top 1% of black wealth. So even to the point of home ownership, that conversation, right? The average home price in Chicago, once you pass, I'm gonna say what shit, 79th Street, $300,000.
What I'll do, Shannon?
That's the standard.
I'm on 87th. It's about 174.
I said once you pass 79th Street going north, I didn't say north, but once you going south is a different conversation. But going north, it start in my neighborhood. The average home price is $500,000 right now.
What neighborhood is that?
Washington Park, Bronzeville, High Park area. Right now, that just in we were supposed to get the Olympics in. I don't remember the year. Right now,
a few years ago.
Right now, I live directly across the street from Washington Park, where they was gonna have the Olympics. Our original cost to our home at that time was like $250. We paid $250 for it. When we were gonna get the Olympics, I had the opportunity to make up to it like $1 million just for renting that shit out for the weekend. It was gonna be a great adventure. You all would have never met me because I'd have never fuck with y'all.
Yes, you would.
Who are these poor people?
I'd have been walking around
you fucking peasants. No, I'm just
looking for Kevin. I'd have been over there, son.
But my point is that didn't happen, right? And then the real estate fall happened, right? So from $250 to being underwater at like $60,000. Now, what's that? 10 years maybe at the best, right? Now my house is appraising close to $400. But I live in a townhome, and just in this area, just speaking of location, that's a townhome, right? When you get to single-family homes, the average home price in that area is now like $500,000.
I mean, Barack helped that out too.
It's not a help, right? It speaks to us being a contagion of wealth. Black people in themselves are a contagion to wealth by design, right? So as that neighborhood gentrifies, white people come, their whiteness brings the value.
Yeah.
Right? So hence why I said going north of 79th Street, because the city is gentrifying. South of 79th Street, they've not really gotten there yet. Hence those home prices are less. You understand? So again, just speaking to the lack of capital we have and why we don't have it. We have been a contagion to wealth. We can argue it all you want, but the data says something different. And even if we use an anecdotal standard like going south on 79th, we know that the city's gentrifying. We know that as these white people come and start to lay anchor in these neighborhoods, the prices of living in these neighborhoods change. The houses ain't changed. Ain't no new stores. It's just they white ass showed up.
It is new stores. It's new everything. It is, absolutely.
I live in Washington Park. I live in Washington Park, okay? Now, there is nothing new.
Where's Washington Park? I just been in.
It's across the street from Hyde Park, right? It's some bullshit. It's a bullshit barrier of College Grove.
Yeah, but 2 blocks over, it's hella remodeled.
No.
Hyde Park is totally different. I've been back 1 year.
But that's Hyde Park.
And I'm like, damn.
But that's Hyde Park.
That whole little area.
But to quantify it, my kids can't go to school in Hyde Park.
Why not? They live down the street.
Because it don't count as that area. I live in a different neighborhood, so my local schools, I got to pay for private schools because I refuse to send my children to local schools. But think about that shit in just context. I refuse to allow my children to go to my goddamn local school because of how terrible it is. But the average home price in that community is starting at $500,000. That's fucking insane. That's insane.
Ridiculous.
Right? But that speaks to us being a contagion to wealth.
Yeah, both of those things are because of you, right? Neither is for you, right? The schools are what they are because fuck you, right? We aren't here to properly educate your children, right? So the schools are under resourced, they're underserved. And the same thing with the houses.
But Hyde Park,
they keep going up to price you out.
Hyde Park is a unique
Once they price everybody out,
right?
School won't be so
Even
bad.
historically, Hyde Park, the 4th Ward in general, is the most diversified ward in all of Chicago, like Hyde Park specifically, right? You're going to get every ethnic group in Hyde Park. You're going to get every caste in Hyde Park. You're going to get every class system in Hyde Park, right? And that's traditionally what it's been.
Yep.
Hence, they can't steal and leverage resources and just affect one person, right? Now, when you start thinking about Chicago in the way that it is, it's the most segregated city in the country. Right? So when you think about that, they can strip resources from one community and it only affects one group of people. And that's why that's why this is ground zero, right? Because this is the definitive of how African Americans are treated in America. It just is what it is. It's the definitive.
Okay, so how many times do we address? I mean, if that's it,
We've never addressed it.
What do we do?
We've never addressed it.
I hear this conversation all of the time.
Quick question then. Why couldn't you answer the question then? Because you
Which
just
part?
said black people buy homes all the time. And I'm saying that's not true. We don't have the money to do it. It's not real.
But okay, they do.
I just gave you data, and it says
You
they
can,
don't.
but I'm giving you data that says I say
you're
that.
giving me anecdotal
But-
answers. It's
well,
different.
however, this conversation is always being had. Black men can't get on top. Black men can't do this. What are we doing different?
I'm not saying black men can't do this.
Black
and black
people.
men can't do
Black
that.
people.
Right?
Black people.
I'm saying black people are a contagion to wealth. It is what it is.
What's a contagion to wealth?
It means like it's
Soon as
get
you
the fuck
come
away
around,
from
all
you.
the money run away.
It goes away from you. It's designed to go away from you.
It doesn't. In my opinion, black people do hood up some shit though.
What does that mean?
When black people move certain places, they don't take care of it. Some of us don't take care of the community like we should. So therefore, the property value goes down, and people get up. Even black people get up out of there. I'm gone. When I was younger, everybody moved to the south suburbs, to the burbs. Everybody moved to the burbs.
let me ask you,
For the
because they
same
were
reason,
the
though.
city.
For the same reason, we
They had the
infected-
money to do it.
No, it's for the same reason. Right? Think about that. You just made that statement. When I was younger, everybody that had some wealth, some black wealth, moved to the suburbs. Right now, if you look at the
some
suburbs
sense.
today, specifically the south suburbs, because that's where the vast majority of black people ran to. Right. If you look at the south suburbs today, what you will recognize is that all of those retail spots that was there before, that funneled and became the engine, the economic drivers of those communities, they're no longer there because the white people left.
Whether you talk
Hence,
about
the property
Ribos,
value
whether you talk about Lincoln
dropped
Mall,
out.
all of that shit
Because
goes
black
when
people
we
are
come
a
out there.
contagion to wealth.
River Oaks is gone.
It's gone.
From what you knew it to be, it's gone.
It's gone. It's like I don't even know how many operable stores are in there. Nobody goes there. It's gone.
Lincoln Mall is actually gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just, and again, like so it's not to say that what you're saying is wrong about like black people coming around and then property value dropping and you start to see different things or whatever. But do you think that's bad design, or you think that black people are just somehow inherently more ignorant than other people,
I think
more
that-
violent, more susceptible
No.
to drug abuse?
Yes, and no. And black people don't. Black people run instead of making it to happen. Black men leave instead of adding a second stream of income. If you're gonna come to the party. Let's dance.
Are you cheering for that crazy shit? Let's go. That's crazy shit.
Let's dance.
Let's take a break.
I'm just sipping on my green juice.
When we come back from break, I want to dive further into what does it look like to dance if we came to this party. We came to this party, so let's dance. What exactly does that mean? I want to unpack
Second,
that on the
third
other side
stream of
this break.
income.
My name is Herb. His name
Going
is
to
Sue.
school.
This wonderful young lady. Her name is Don B. We'll be right back.
WIIFTBPM.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Where my steppers at?
This is retired State Senator Ricky Hendon. This is my new song, Be My Christmas. It's on my House Party CD, produced by house music icons King Farley. It's available on my website, HollywoodHendon.com, various streaming platforms, and CDs. The album also has songs like We Getting Lit and Rona Money. Get the House Party CD in time for Christmas and New Year's Eve. This is our new song, We Getting Lit. Just in time for New Year's Eve. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Go to HollywoodHendon.com and get my music. Let's bring in 2021. Ricky Hollywood Hendon. Don't forget me, y'all.
This is the king of house music, Farley Jack Master Funk, and I endorse Hollywood Ricky Hendon. Let's go to work.
Welcome back, good people. We are live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios alongside Tucson Warner. My name is Herb Howard. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. Each and every weekday from 3 to 6 p.m. We hang out with y'all. We talk about issues impacting the black community. Today we are talking about money, and we are joined live in the studio by Don B. What's wrong? What's the problem?
Nothing's wrong, black man.
All right. Well, don't be looking at me like that then, like it's a problem.
I'm being ridiculous. Let's go.
So look, Dexter Child Randall says, I know a few real estate agents who post pics all the time with us buying homes.
Yeah, see, that
solves it.
This is the thing, y'all. Like, can we please?
I'm convinced.
Can you let Red know what the conversation is about?
Can we please focus in on the
Rock.
actual comment and the actual conversation, right? It's not, do you know black people who own homes? Of course you do. At least I hope you do. So do we. That is not the average experience of black people in this country. It's not the average. If you're honest with yourself, it's not the average experience of all the black people you know.
Yeah, but this conversation stemmed from a tweet from a black realtor that said, I'm seeing black women buy houses in droves, not single black men. Not bashing brothers, but it's a deep concern. That's where this came from.
Right. So and even that, right? Even that piece is still just one of her individual testimonies. I'm a realtor, and this is what I'm seeing.
But even outside of that, what it does is it quantifies the conversation as a gender conversation. And it's not a gender conversation, it's a racial conversation.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Right?
it's a different, if we're going to do single black men and black people, it is different. It's different. It's two different conversations, in my opinion.
Why?
I was just talking about that because you guys put the tweet up. But single black men are different from black people because now black people are families, black women, black
Are single
youth.
black men not black people?
They are.
This is confusing the shit out of me.
Listen, it shouldn't confuse you. You put it on the screen. You said, you exposed a tweet that a realtor said. I was going off of that. I said, hey, my black men in America buy homes. Now,
But the data says that's not true.
The data says the difference between black and white people. You didn't show me any single black men data. I couldn't pull it up. Maybe because I don't know. We got a droid over there. I don't.
But the data in general exists around black home ownership, right? Yeah. So if we quantify that and we say that black ownership is X, Y, Z, right? We can also quantify it by the level of black college graduations in comparison to male to women. If you look at the American standards, black men are behind black women in all of those standards. We are behind y'all in every measurable standard. I'll say that clearly, right? But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because the whole of the experience is a contagion of wealth, whether you black female or black male.
I'm tired of hearing it.
The whole of whether you're tired of hearing it or not, don't change it.
What can black people do to change the narrative?
Right, and so that
it's so whack.
And so that's great, right?
It's so whack.
In order to
the first thing we gotta do to change it,
you gotta understand the narrative. You gotta acknowledge that the narrative exists.
How we gonna change it? We won't even acknowledge
it is a gap between white people and black people buying homes. Sure,
but it's not just a gap between black people and white people buying homes,
What is
right?
it?
There's 99% of the wealth in this country is in the hands of white folks. 99% of the wealth in this country is in the hand of white. There should be a gap between white people and every fucking body, right? But there's a misconception that we are in the game. It's like playing Monopoly with no fucking.
We are in the game.
We're not in the game.
Just continue now. I mean, we did have some things that held us back, mainly our mentality.
Really?
All right?
Bullshit.
It came
mainly
from
our
bullshit.
mentality, not mainly slavery, not mainly Jim Crow,
slavery.
not mainly the laws,
mainly legislation,
mainly our mentality.
How long are we going to talk about slavery?
It's been 150 years,
and then we get over it.
It's been 2 lifetimes.
Now we
let's stop talking about slavery when they take the wealth that slavery amassed out of the system.
That's what we doing. We on the come
because that same
when do you get over
that
something?
same wealth that slavery amassed created the same poverty that it amassed.
Somebody do something to you. When do you get over it?
When do I get over it? When do I get over it?
Somebody does something to you. When do you get over it?
When I address it, I accept it, and I move on.
Oh, has slavery been addressed by this country?
Yes, by black people. We know what it is. And just now, during the pandemic, during the pandemic, a revolution happened. It was 2 pandemics in this last 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So if once we continue to move forward, we have to keep our minds right, black people. A lot of us collected unemployment. A lot of us got some SBA loans. A lot of us got a new brand of logic. Please, if we just Get it together.
And just forget slavery.
Don't forget. Yeah. Fucking
Fuck
get
it.
over it. Don't
Get over
forget it. Fucking get over it.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. Let's just go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Every time you see a white person, you get mad. Bitch, y'all granddaddy owned mine.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Oh, God.
That is a problem.
So the problem with
What's
that
the problem?
idea set to me,
That it was slavery was ever happened. That is the problem.
The problem with that idea.
Now what?
So the problem with that idea set to me is that there's an assumption that it's over. There's an assumption
Who's
that we've
assuming?
moved beyond the system, and we haven't.
Wow.
So it's like I'm here now. Let's get over it. How do you get over?
Let's get past.
How do you get past what's still happening?
By not giving it energy.
So if somebody
Be
whooping my
confident.
ass, and I just say I don't believe he's whooping
get
my
your
ass,
ass-
the ass whooping stops.
Tell me what's happening.
What do you mean?
How
What's
is
happening?
it? What's slavery like in 2020?
Slavery. What's slavery like?
Slavery's
in
like
2020?
more people in prison than were ever enslaved.
Slavery's like me paying $500,000 for a fucking house that I can't send my children to the schools in the area before.
Okay,
That's
now
what
do you do?
slavery's like.
Now who do you talk to about that?
That's what. Wait. That's what slavery's like. You keep
it's a different
stop
kind of
moving
slavery.
the goalposts
Now
and
it's a
address the
different kind of
conversation.
No. This is all within. This is all. on the
Slavery
field.
looks like
This is all on
redlining.
the
We're talking about
football field.
houses. Slavery looks like redlining.
This is all on the football field. I'm not moving the post or nothing. It all has to be addressed. And instead of fucking complaining every day, I just need to see action. That protesting, the don't do it shit, that's not going to make them
So
go
what do you
change the
deem as
law.
action?
They're not going to go change the law.
What do you deem
all
as
right?
action?
I'm not a lobbyist. I'm not a political person at all. But I know if you don't change that constitution, ain't shit going to change. Until you amend the amendments, nothing's going to change.
So that looks like
So
action, changing
take
the
it.
amendments,
Yes.
changing the constitution, changing legislation.
Yes, include the
So-
black people. Include
So
people.
I'm gonna ask because I'm gonna agree with you there, right? I do agree that the change is reparations. That's the desired outcome. You have to give us reparations for what you stole from us. That
Okay.
is a legislation conversation, and it's not some check that you're giving us. It's a debt that you owe, right?
Yes.
It's not an ask. It's a debt. There's
Word.
a difference in the context, right? So let's address that, right? Did you vote this last presidential election?
Yeah.
Who'd you vote for?
Kamala,
Why?
because she's a black bitch.
And that's the
I know.
falsehood of the
No.
narrative.
So as I was going through my options, that's all I could come up with. I mean, I'm not a liberal, and I really didn't do the knowledge on that liberal. What's the guy? Alexander. I don't even know who the fuck it was. The
I
liberal.
don't know what you're talking about.
The liberal dude. I wanted to put Kanye in, but he didn't. I thought about penciling him in, but I'm like, I mean, we had put a star in office. I don't know. But so when I listened to Kamala, she was my best bet. I mean, Biden. Oops, she's a VP. You just have to go with what is the higher of the lesser.
See, that's I have a problem.
What else can we do?
That is-
You go run. I would have voted for
So
Tucson.
Listen, no, slow down. Pump your brakes a little bit, Speed Racer, right? You just said legislation looks like the change. Legislation is where this needs to happen.
Yeah.
We agreed on that point.
Absolutely.
Right? We agreed that reparations is due, right? It's due. So there's video recordings of Kamala saying, hey, man, I'm not going to do nothing specific for black people. Right? So then they go into that voting booth and choose that same woman who's totally against the shit that you saying you need to change. The actions that you say you need to see.
When
seems
was that
fucking
recording?
insane to me.
When was that
I don't,
recording?
man, I ain't finna be the fact checker around here. You can Google Kamala Harris saying, I'm doing nothing for black people. This is readily
What's the
available.
context, though?
What the context was, the question is, what do you specifically have planned to do for black people once you get in office? And her response was, I don't plan to do nothing specific for black people.
What could she do?
Push reparations forward. She can't do nothing as a vice fucking president, but you can't vote for her. But
let
you
me
didn't
tell
vote
you,
for a vice president, you voted for a president. There's the falsehood.
Yeah. She, first of all, it's wild as hell that she is a first woman vice president, let alone black woman president. So let's start there. The world is more sexist than racist. So
I disagree with that.
Okay.
I disagree with that.
I think it is.
That's fine.
They,
Right?
they voted
But-
a black man
but-
in before they voted, and that
So,
was a white woman
Listen what I'm saying.
who voted, and more white women
So-
voted for Trump this season than they did last time.
Hence the argument about sexism and racism. That right there destroys that whole argument.
Because
right?
they voted for the
they're
man,
going
not the woman.
No. They voted for whiteness. They didn't vote for the man, not the woman. They voted for whiteness and to secure my position in whiteness. That's what they voted for. That's why when all the feminists
Well, I
can
don't
come
know. I
out and
gotta
tell
ask my
you
white friends.
this grab them by the pussy lady is a problem. I mean, man is a problem. But when they secretly go into that booth and he secures their wealth, they're going to go with it because it secures their whiteness. It's not about because of no man-woman shit. The only rule that gender conversation is played out for is us as the powerless. We want to maintain the power. That's all it is. So when we say that we want to see action, when we say we need actionable movements, right?
About to.
We can't work in opposition of those actions that we desire.
Yeah.
That's a fallacy. So when you say,
Yes,
I
it's
hear this
true.
shit all the time, but we ain't doing nothing. Well, we doing something. We reinforcing the same system that we say we don't appreciate.
We just reinforcing it. So stop. I don't. Kamala Harris is just getting her foot in the door. She didn't want it to backfire. I don't know the woman, but I would have said, I don't know what I can do for black people. I need to hear her say it, and I need to hear the whole conversation. Kamala has all just said she was for the black people. She said it. What's the nigga name?
And so did Barack.
Biden did too.
So did Barack.
Yeah, but you
Right?
can't.
And we
you
lost
can't-
more
Donald
black
Trump.
wealth
That
under
was
the
one-
Barack administration than
it was
ever in the
one
history of
person.
fucking America.
It's one person. We need more than one person because it's us too busy celebrating the black woman got in. Then it's only 4 years. Shit, it took me a whole year to remember to get off at 55th just to go to Hyde Park. 1 year.
And they bullshitting though. We didn't demand anything of them people before we gave them my vote. It was just the lesser of two evils.
But that's the point I'm making. The reason we don't demand is because we don't understand what to demand. So when I come in and I say, here's the data, and Don says, I'm sick of hearing that shit, it creates this paradigm where we don't even want to know.
I don't know how to advance.
We're
from
comfortable in the positioning of being oppressed. And
Right.
then wonder why the fuck we complain about our oppression. And essentially what we're saying when we don't want to know is that, well, we actually like this shit.
It's comfortable. It's easier than dealing with the issues. You find your little piece of comfort within the bullshit, and that's easier than flipping the system on its head and saying, I don't want a small piece of comfort.
They begging us to open up the phone lines.
Open it up.
If y'all want to open the phone
Only
lines,
if y'all gonna call, because y'all talk
How?
this shit and don't never dial a number.
if y'all want to open the phone lines, we can do that over this next break. If y'all gonna call in, fine.
You said that so convincingly.
Yeah, 'cause I don't believe they
Yeah, I know y'all full of shit.
872-259-74. And it's cool. I know y'all like to leave the comments. I'm cool with the comments. But y'all ask for the phone lines. We can open them. I just don't actually think y'all gonna call. But
What's the number?
We'll see if we can get Esco to set it up over the break. The telephone number is
872-7474.
259-7474. 872-259-7474. As always, your
If you
input is
from
valued.
Logan Homes, that
It is
7474
certainly
means
appreciated.
Let me put it
I
in the
have
comment.
zero idea how we get to a place where we can get over these issues if we are preferring to be in a place where it's like, just forget that shit. Fuck it.
But it
Move
goes
on.
back
It's
to-
not just, I'm not attacking you on that piece at all. This is a common conversation that we have. This is a common response that I get to this thing. Like, when the folk gonna get over it? Have you ever
That's not
heard
what
a
I
Jewish
said.
person say, get over the Holocaust? Have you ever in your life heard that?
Yeah, I
No,
never
they
said get
view it
over
as
it.
child abuse to not teach their children every single thing there is to know about that shit. Us, get over that shit.
I didn't say get over it. That's not what I said.
I thought you did.
No. I said, how do we get past the shit? You cannot get over it. You can't get rid of it. It's there. It happened. It's factual.
I don't want us
It's
to get
part
over
of our
it.
history.
I want us to embrace it.
How do we get past the shit, though?
By
Because some
acknowledging
people
it,
are hiding behind it
figuring out who's at
constantly.
fault,
Okay.
demanding that they take
Now,
accountability
how
for
do
their
we
actions.
demand it? This
We
is
have
where
to
I'm
be
going.
unified. But we
Hey,
can't demand
that's
it
what I'm
if some of us
talking
like, y'all bogus as hell, y'all fucked up in the Senate. So half of us like,
but
we gotta
you know-
stop complaining
see,
about this shit.
But it's
No,
not
no,
just
no.
unified. It's unified around the information.
That's what I'm saying. How?
Around
That's what
actual
I ain't
shit.
So
saying.
listen, though,
Not
we
how
were
we feel.
unified in our vote for Kamala, the motherfucker who is saying I'm the devil. In regards to what we desire and need, she said out her mouth, "I ain't doing shit for you." That's what she said, and
Do
we made a
some shit for
unified
yourself.
movement.
God
toward-
helps those who helps themselves.
We elected Joe Biden. Be clear
So
about
it's
that.
a-
That
it's
was
a
a
bootstrap
unification
thing.
of the black vote. We unified to do that.
Pull
Without
yourself up by
us,
the
Joe
bootstrap.
Biden does not
What's the
get
number?
We
there.
gotta take a break. When we come back from break, the phone lines will be open. The telephone number is 872-259-7474. This is I Said What I Said. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
Chicago great, Simeon legend, University of Illini legend. ILL, baby! Man, flying the Illini, man. That's a Dick Vitale. I don't think he could have stated it any better. NBA great. It's always great to have a Chicago basketball icon, hoop legend, the one and only Nick Anderson in the building. Nick, how you feeling, brother?
What's going on, fellas? From that day I got drafted till we are sitting here in front of each other today, I'm thankful and I'm grateful that my mom has never worked another day in her life. People don't know. I can remember the conversations that me and Benji used to have all the time, that we were going to buy our mom a big house and a pretty car. It was so unfortunate that he wasn't here to live out that dream, but I lived out the dream for me and him. As you know, Benji wore number 25. I wore number 25 my entire college career and my entire Benji. You think about all the guys that came out of Simeon and went down to the U of I that wore number 25 after me at the University of Illinois. And then you have to give love to Newt, Juwan Howard. He wore number 25 at Michigan. We carry that name on. That legacy is still being carried today.
It is. It absolutely
you
is.
see D Rose wearing 25 now. It's special. That means something to me. And that's something I will always carry with me.
The guys at Simeon that wear 25, all of the guys at Illinois, Deion Thomas, Brian Notary, all of those guys up until now, and like you said, in the league, we see Kendrick Nunn. Jabari had number 25 stitched in his shoes when he played for the Bulls.
Yes, sir.
It's a Chicago thing, man. I feel like we wear Benji, however we can represent Ben Wilson, we do it. I remember Common, one of his famous albums, I think it was One Day of the Law Makes Sense or something, and he had a whole 4 bars about Ben Wilson, and it kind of just took me back. It's like anytime you hear a new Ben Wilson story, or anytime you hear the name Ben Wilson, it just resonates like none other. So I'm glad that you were able to start that whole, and I don't even want to call it a trend, because it's definitely more than a trend,
Oh, exactly. It just carry on. One of the greats, one of the special ones. He will always be talked about. He will always be brought up in conversations somehow, some way. And because he was special. He was just a special guy, not only basketball-wise, but a human being. He was just a special dude. I still remember what I was doing and where I was at that day all that went down. I remember it like it happened yesterday. I just can't forget it.
Being outside, like across the street at the candy store or something when all of that went down.
Yeah, man, I remember it just like it was yesterday. And the way how dark it got in a few seconds, it was, just to think about it, man, it just brings a dark cloud over your head.
Yeah, man. Ideas, man. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free.
What's happening, good people? We are back live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. My name is Herb Howard, alongside my esteemed co-host. His name is Toussaint Warner. We was thrilled to be joined live in the studio by Don B.
At first a little bit, but
not quite as thrilled anymore.
Nobody said
Not quite
get
as
over
thrilled.
slavery. I said, how do we get past slavery? How do we get past? How do we move along instead of always talking about the shit? Now you started saying you coming up with some ideas. That's my only question. Who the fuck can get over slavery? Who put that said? Who said I said that? You said what you said. I never said that shit.
So there's tape, but
let's review the play.
Run it back.
Run it back.
I mean,
All right,
there's tape.
More importantly than trying to prove you right or wrong about whatever, is just the place that we are in the conversation. And I think that anytime you're talking about getting past anything, it has to be acknowledged that this thing happened, right? Someone has to be held responsible for that thing.
Okay.
And then the harm has to be repaired.
Okay, I'm with that.
I would argue that none of those things happened as it relates to slavery.
Okay. I
Even to the simple point of acknowledging that that it's happened. We're seeing textbooks now referring to slaves as immigrant workers. In the latest textbooks, this is what they're putting in schools to teach our kids.
Really?
We keep on with this shit. Another generation or two, motherfuckers will literally be able to look in your face and be like, nah, that shit
I
didn't
wouldn't
happen.
even change the context of that conversation, right? I don't think we need to get past it or get over it or none of that shit. I think we need to embrace it.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I'm saying is,
listen, hold on. Let me finish my point.
It's taken out of
I'm saying
context.
that we need to embrace it in the sense that we don't fully grasp or understand what slavery was. Right. We deem cotton to be the product. Cotton was not the fucking product.
What was the product?
The people, the Africans were the product. Right. They built Wall Street on legitimately. Wall Street is named for black African slaves. They were trading slaves on Wall Street. To have one slave equated to the amount of what a home price would be today. So if you own 30 slaves, that would be like owning 30 homes today.
Which in a real way, slaves so more valuable than black people today.
Right. So the slave itself became the transaction, right? It became the negotiation. It is what became American wealth, right? And when you strip people of that opportunity to make wealth for over 400 years, that same wealth that is baked into the American economy, it creates the poverty that is baked into the American economy. And just like that wealth hasn't dissipated, neither has that poverty.
Yeah.
So when we have these conversations based on aspiration instead of fact, it creates a disillusioned idea set.
I'm not disillusioned by no fucking means.
Okay.
I clearly am aware of slavery. clearly understand the how black families were torn apart and how we still live like that right now. My question is, how long are we going to have this discussion?
Until we learn it, until we understand
It's
it.
beating the fucking dead horse.
No, it's not.
Now,
at
when
all.
are black people dead? Okay, let's have it. Let's talk
What
about
would
it.
you have us
Let's
do?
always talk about it. But when are we going to now get our communities up in order? When are we now going to be on the streets and tell these young black kids, don't tear your fucking neighborhood down because your parents can't even get their
So
medication?
I appreciate,
now
I
you
appreciate
can't go
your
to the
passion.
bank.
I appreciate your passion.
When are we going to do
But
that?
it doesn't change the facts, right? So
I'm not trying to change the
that's what I'm
facts.
saying. You
I'm asking you a question.
So I'm about to answer it, right? You're associating those behaviors in our communities as pathologies that are directly attached to black people. What I'm telling you before you answer is that they're not. They're pathologies associated to poverty. That same poverty that's
It's
been
true.
baked into our communities
It's
since
true.
slavery.
You're
That's what I'm
right.
saying.
I know. I just said that.
No.
And everybody's like,
You
okay,
saying-
reparations.
You
How
saying
much money?
change your behavior while not changing the poverty
No, I
infrastructure
said-
that's
I
still
didn't say-
there.
I said, how?
I just said.
Otherwise, or how long are we going to keep talking about this? So
Until
cut and
we
check.
get
So
to the
reparations.
core.
So reparations is one of them.
If we're not going, that's number one.
So cut us. So give us a whole country then. How would that sound? Should we all go back and go?
No,
all
this
black
country is
people-
ours. We built this one.
Okay, so should we
The
kick
wealth
the
of
white
this
people out?
country came from us. America would not be a rich nation except for the fact they had 200 plus years of free labor. I don't give a fuck if you're selling cotton balls. If you got free labor for 200 years, you're gonna be rich as fuck. It just is what it is. Like, and to continue to amass that wealth, continue to benefit from that wealth, to build an entire system that ensures you maintain that wealth without then giving it back to the people who are most responsible for you having it, is never acknowledging or addressing the issue. And we talk about these symptoms of problems. We talk about the violence. We talk about the debris and the trash and all that shit. Those are symptoms of a problem. Until we get to the actual root cause of that issue, none of those symptoms are going to go away.
And the root cause of that issue is
It's white
slavery.
supremacy.
We know this. So if you know it, why is my question so ridiculous? If you know,
Because you're saying, okay,
what
now
it
that we
is.
know that, just get over it.
I didn't say get over it.
Get past
Nobody
it.
ever said
So,
get
past
over
it.
it.
Stop.
Get
What's
past
say
it.
your question?
We
So
could never
clarify
get
your
over
question.
it.
Clarify
we
your question.
literally could never
Okay,
get
past
over
it.
this.
Get past it.
How do we rebuild our mentality? How do we now make black people? What happened? The
So,
Black Wall,
again-
all that shit on even on Black Wall
So
Street.
let's
How
just
do we
stop.
now get back
Let's
here?
just stop. I'm
How?
going to use your statement. You said, how do we rebuild our mentality?
Yes.
Right? Mentality, i.e. behavior set.
Yes.
With how we think about, how we view things.
Word.
Right? Which essentially makes our behavior set a pathology attached to us just being. Our behavior set is a pathology attached to the poverty that is baked into our communities. That's what it is. When those people tore them stores up, why did they tear those stores up? Because they just felt like breaking fucking windows? No. Because it became an opportunity.
No, it was an
became an
opportunity
to come up.
Yes.
Which is a direct reflection of being down.
I know. We keep saying the same thing.
It's not a behavior.
We're saying the same thing.
No, we're not, though.
We're literally saying the same thing for the last 30 minutes.
I'm definitely not saying what you're
saying. I'm definitely not saying
No, I'm not saying we're saying the same thing. We keep repeating the same shit.
We never repeat the same shit.
I'm asking you a question.
I've answered it.
And you answering it.
Okay.
And you keep saying slavery, slavery, slavery. And then I said,
I didn't mention slavery one time in that retort I just gave you just then.
Yeah, well, you did. You said
no.
The
I just
poverty
used
level.
the context of what you said to explain it.
Okay.
I didn't say slavery. I said you said change our mentality.
I said how? Since we know what it is.
Let's stop.
Now, what can we do to make black people great again? Kick all the white people out of America?
What we
ask them. So if they cut a check next week, what if they cut a check next week? How much would it be?
I don't know. The figures are somewhere between 17 trillion on the low side, 34 trillion is the highest number I've heard.
And then that would make all black people get 17 trillion, or we have to split $17 trillion
divided amongst
all black people.
Right.
That would be
44 million of us.
My
when you
mom,
take out
my
the
granny,
immigrants, it's like 36
my
million.
kids and shit.
36 million. That's the number.
36 million.
Roughly.
A piece.
No.
People. That's people. It's 36 million people.
The 17 trillion is to be divided amongst 36 million people.
I am listening, Mr. Watts. Are you? Okay. So now, is that what we lobby for? Cut us a check. And then can we then we move forward?
Yes.
And then what do you think that we would do as black people once you cut that check?
Doesn't matter.
It does matter. We have to have a plan.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So once we get a cut of that 17
It's like
trillion,
going to work every day at a job, right?
Uh-huh.
And you get paid for doing that work, right?
Yeah.
Who the hell monitors what you do with your check?
I do.
Right.
And you
It's
will
not
with
a
this check,
community
too.
conversation.
And it has to be a community conversation.
Then why isn't it a community conversation
Otherwise,
now?
then black
Because
people.
we aren't asking for a favor. We're asking them to do us a favor.
I'm not asking for a favor. We're not.
Hand us something. You owe us bread. You owe me a check for
Absolutely.
the work that we did.
Yes.
The bread that you have is a direct result of the shit that we did and the shit you did to us. Run
Yeah.
us our motherfucking bread.
Word.
And don't worry about what I do with it.
I'm asking you as a black person, not a white motherfucker.
And I'm saying to his point, no other black person asks you what you do with your personal income check.
Other cultures gather together and make a community.
Ideally, that's what you want to do.
Wait. And that's also a fault.
Ideally, that is what you want to do.
That's also
but
a
it don't
falsehood,
have to
too.
happen.
Oh, you got somebody on the
We
line.
got to take a break. When we come back from break, we will take your phone calls. Shannon, Patrice, I see y'all on the phone lines. If you want to join the conversation, feel free to do so. The telephone number here is 872-259-7474.
Dago put this in her routine this
872-259-7474.
These niggas ain't shit.
So Jay just came with a statistic about what that number would be. I kind of missed it, but I'll find it over break so we can come back to it. This is I Said What I Said. We'll be right back.
WIFTPM.
Money our black-owned business. I have a good friend with us this morning. I'm so excited. Jonathan Swain is here. KimBarkBeverage.com. We tend to talk about business a lot. We both are in family businesses. Was this the plan? Because you are second generation business owner.
Yeah. No, actually, I'll talk about it from my father's perspective, and I'll talk about it from my perspective. His perspective, he did not want me to be in this business. The liquor business has a sordid history. You know, they call it a sin business. I mean, it's less that now, but it had a very sordid history. He didn't want me to do this. He wanted me to go off to school. My father was the first person to fire me at 9 years old. I was supposed to be at work at 11 o'clock, and I showed up 5 minutes late, walked me outside, and fired me. And I'll never be late again. So I appreciate him for that. I walked home. My mother said, well, what happened? I said, Dad fired me. What happened? I was late. He said, well, you got fired. You're late. You can't be late. Told you to get up and leave. My side of it, in many ways, I have a very unique rearing experience in that I've never seen my father work a job. So when I was born, my dad was an entrepreneur. Growing up, it's, I'm going to own my own business. I'm going to be in business doing something, controlling my own destiny in some ways. In particular, my father's generation relative to us, there's not a lot of information transfer about how that works. And there's not a lot of context. It's kind of, I'm going to keep you away from the struggles I had so you don't have them. But in not seeing the struggles, you don't know how to get through the struggles. But as I've gotten older and we developed a relationship and talked about it, I began to understand a lot of the bumps and the bruises and the challenges and what makes entrepreneurship and business ownership not for the weak and weary. All the success I've had in business has been a function of with my parents. As fortunate as I am and people look to my business story, there is no business story but for them and what they did. I mean, my dad was the first black business owner in Hyde Park in the 1970s. Hyde Park, though it's welcoming and inclusive now, wasn't always that way.
Yeah.
There are a lot of stories that he would tell us about the challenges that he had being a black-owned business in Hyde Park back in the 1970s. That success comes from their legacy ultimately.
The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Why we shine wherever we go. 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 Lord, Lord. Welcome to the mind of a pothead. On my head, see a young nigga got dressed. We don't give a fuck what the cop said. I'm living a legacy. So even when I die, I am not dead. Nigga, I am not dead. Fuck with me.
And we are back live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. This is I Said What I Said. It is intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. My name is Herb Howard. My co-host, his name is Toussaint Warner, joined live in the studio by Don B. Sonia Escobar is behind the glass in the production studio doing whatever Sonia Escobar does, because I certainly don't know how to do what she does. She's the best at it, though. Appreciate you, Esco, as always. Don, appreciate you taking some time out your schedule to come chop it up with us, too.
Thanks for having me.
It is an absolute...
Fucking humps. Thank you, Herb.
We've gotten into a conversation. We had a conversation earlier about money and finances and what it is that we do with it. We've kind of gotten
No.
We did have a conversation earlier.
You weren't even here when we was having a conversation.
You weren't even here.
Boy, that is some black woman shit right there.
Jesus Christ.
Because y'all jumped on me when I said, now what if we get a reparations check? Then what do we do with it? Like, that was such a bogus fucking question. I'm not trying to dictate what you do with your reparations check. I'm asking simply, and two on the break, you broke it down. You started giving me ideas of how to get past slavery.
No.
I never said one time, get over it. You guys said, hey, get reparations. I totally agree. And I said, now what? You can't tell me what to do with my money. I'm not. I'm asking you. Why don't we have any black neighborhoods to go shop in? That's it.
Can I get back to
you can
bringing us out of the break?
How do you get out of it? How do you get out of the break?
I just want to get back to bringing us out of the break.
How do you get out of the break?
How do you get out of the break then? Tell me how you get out of the break.
You come back from break, you kind of let people know what was going on prior to how this conversation started, which is what I was doing, and then you was like, no, I didn't. I was like, you weren't even here. And you kept
You're right. My bad.
It's all good.
No, because I was just going from what we were talking about on break. I took it back to off break.
And the B is for bullshit.
Right there. Don and the B is for bullshit. The phone lines are open for you if you want to join the conversation. Feel free to call in 872-259-7474. Let's jump out to the phone lines where we will find Shannon. Shannon, good evening, love. How are you?
What up, though? How you guys doing?
We are excellent. Thank you so much for calling. Please say something to make me feel better.
Because I think she was just over-speaking or misspeaking or whatever. I'm going to cut her some slack. I'm going to cut her some slack on my points that were rubbing me the wrong way.
You ain't got to cut her no slack.
And I'm just going to say that I'm going to cordially invite you to our Is book club. I think that'd be a great
I said what I said, book club.
But I just want to come with some solutions. These are just some of my own personal solutions. They may not be the best solutions, but there's just some items that I came up with. First, we got to start off with acknowledgement. That's what we need. Black people in this country need acknowledgement. And when I say black people, the second thing I'm talking about is they need to identify us as a group. We have our own group, and that is the ADOS group. We should have our own group that's identified. The third thing that we need to have is free education for a lifetime. And this is for all the descendants of ADOS. Free education for a lifetime. And then I want to come back to $1 million per descendant of ADOS. Pay us. Give us our money. Pay us. All right? And then from there, all of the companies, all of these businesses that are benefiting off the back of slavery, who started their corporations and made millions off our ancestors, and currently their families are living off trillions off our ancestors, we need to cut of that money. So everything that they're making every day, today, on a daily basis, we need a cut of that money annually need to be coming into our pockets. And we'll take that money and what we got and come together and build our own. Thank y'all.
Thanks so much for the call, Shannon. Truly, truly appreciate you. Before I allow you to jump back in response, I do want to acknowledge the fact that Shannon did mention the IsWiz Book Club. I said what I said, book club. It's slated to, I think they said we're going to actually get together and meet every third Thursday, they said, beginning in January. I saw a message earlier. Shannon, confirm that if I'm right. Every third Thursday in January is when we're going to start. I think they identified the first book, but I'm not sure. If you want to join the book club, just search it, IsWiz
Miseducation of the Negro, if I remember.
Yeah, I think that's the first book that we're going to do. And Ready Rock came with a good idea.
Bunch of miseducated Negroes.
Having breakout groups, read certain chapters of it so we don't have to kind of all go through it like that. But we'll figure that piece out. But I think third Thursday starting in January, the IsWiz Book Club. If you want to be a part of the group, just search it on Facebook. Join the group. You are more than welcome. Any response to Shannon?
Thanks, Shannon. Shit. All I'm saying, why was it so ridiculous?
Because I agree with us. I thought maybe you had something.
No, I totally agree.
Okay.
I was simply asking for solutions.
I think
everybody
she just came with a bunch.
She did, absolutely. But when I asked for solutions, y'all went berserk. Everybody went berserk like, oh, come on, Don. We can't get over slavery. I'm like, when did I say get over it? I'm asking for solutions. And thank you, Shannon. That was legit.
So let me say this too, though.
And that's just what it is.
Part of my problem, and this is just an American paradigm, right? We all have this avoid the journey, deal, and expect the destination kind of philosophy about life, right? The journey is where the value is found, right? That's just the reality, right? So when we hit the conversation with where's the solution without an understanding of the journey, then the solution is going to be faulty. It just is what it is. And what I'm saying is that we don't fully grasp the impacts of slavery. We don't fully grasp the what slavery really did to us, and I'm not just meaning from a emotional space, because there is some psychological effects to being a slave, right? It's passed down genetically from generation to generation, but there's a part of this shit that we don't grasp, we don't understand, and this is just in totality, it's a new movement and a new conversation in the lexicon in general. So I'd assume that most people, even those who study this shit, don't fully grasp it. The economic impacts to in regards to like the details of how that shit really played out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, again, like I said, what was the product, right? And we all assume that, like, there's an open narrative that the product was cotton.
When they wanted the childbearing Negro, they wanted the big black slave.
It wasn't cotton. But sure. It just goes way more in depth than that. There was legitimately homosexual sex farms that we don't even, that shit, I've never thought about that in context of slavery. You know what I mean? It's just so many portions of this shit that we don't even address that has implications on our instability today.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. And most of our instability today is that we are so far left behind in the economic conversation of America that you cannot create that emotional stability. Because the motherfucker that's hungry, ain't no therapy for being hungry. Okay. Ain't no therapy for being miseducated in mass because your schools aren't equipped to compete with the schools of today.
Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Listen, let's jump back out to the phone lines where we will find Patrice. Patrice, is this RO Double?
Wait a minute. Do you guys think that I'm not looking at the problem?
What's up, girl? How you feeling? Thanks for the call. What's on your mind? Can y'all stop talking over our callers, please?
So, I think I was listening to two while he was talking, and I think that we need to start to think about slavery as genocide. And slavery is almost like too superficial, right? We need to really start to think about slavery as genocide, economic genocide, family genocide,
sure,
and just a total genocide of a people, period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that a lot of Black people do not understand the effects that slavery has had on the DNA of the African descendant of slaves. The way that we think about our own people is psychic trauma from slavery, or the genocide, or like Dr. Khalid Muhammad called it, the hell of a cause, right? We need to start changing our mind on it and the way that we think about slavery, and then to better understand why we are in the position the way that we are, and why we hate each other the way that we do. You know, and that's basically what it's about. And I think that's probably like the only thing that I've agreed with too about this whole conversation that I always agree with too. But I do believe too, though, on Don's point, that we do have to start to move past the economic side, because we have money. We spend $1.2 trillion in this economy. We have money to buy property if we wanted to do that, right? We have that. However, it's the priorities that we have totally messed up. And you all talked about the priority in the very beginning, right? We want to look alike. We got to have Gucci. We got to have this. We got to have that.
Yeah.
The main reason why I started a business was because of how much I know we spend.
How many employees does your business have?
What you say, too?
How many employees does your business have?
One, actually. I do have an employee.
Okay. I'm going to address the conversation offline. I just wanted to have that information.
All right.
I
appreciate you, ROW. Thank you so much, as always. Yo,
so, again.
What? Maze, you having too much fucking fun with this shit, first of all. Okay?
I think that was excellent.
Maze is back there in the production studio just having a blast. He thinks this is cute.
So
I don't.
It's not. It's real.
Context is so important, right? And this is what
Absolutely.
Context is very important, right? So the sisters just called and said, we do have money. We spend $1.2 trillion a year. The real numbers is like 1.8 trillion. That's the real number, right? But we're also 12% of the U.S. population, right? The Asian community is less than 3% of the American population, and they spend 1.3 trillion. That number 1 trillion sounds big out of context. When you add it to 44 million people, it ain't shit. Those $1.8 trillion goes to ComEd, somebody's rent, somebody's gas. It's not like we just tricking off 1.8 trillion on sneakers. And because we don't have the context and we say that number as if it's not attached to 44 million people and 12% of the American population, and we don't have context to what other people are spending. Asians, less than 3% of the population.
Yeah, but they keep their money
But
right there.
1.3 trillion, we just talking about context. If they're less than 3% and we're 12%, and they're spending 1.3 and we're spending 1.8, we should know that we ain't got shit. That's a basic math problem. It ain't no money. It ain't there.
If we recycle it, don't you think that would help? If we spent it in
So,
our community, like the
quick
Asians.
question. How
I've
do
been
you
all around Asia.
So I'm gonna ask you a very quick and simple question. If we're 44 million deep and we're spending 1.8 trillion, right? And we're spending on the basic necessities in mass, homes. Wait. Basic necessities, right? What black energy company can you spend your money with to heat your home? What black light company can you spend your money with to light your home? Let's not make up this illusionary shit.
I don't know. Is there a
Let's
black energy
deal
company
in
in
the
Chicago?
reality.
Because there's one in Atlanta. Trying. Is it one? I don't know. We'll
I
get
don't
one.
live in Atlanta. I don't know nothing about what's
So
going on in Atlanta.
We have to speak about. We're speaking about the world. And
We're
in
speaking
my
about
opinion,
America.
America then.
Mhm.
Because some people leave and go and take their dollars elsewhere. But if we spent and recycled money in the black community, do you think that can help our economic situation?
What I'm saying.
Yes or no?
It's not a yes or no. It can't be a yes or no, right? Because I'm saying the opportunity doesn't even exist. You can't buy black energy. You understand what I'm saying? You can't buy black heat. And our money is going to necessities. We have this false idea that even when we buy all this name brand shit that we talk about, right? That we blame how economic habits on. Where do you buy that shit? Most of the people I know buy that shit from the beauty salon, not Gucci.
Who buys Gucci?
The vast majority of people wearing that shit.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. You walk up and down the street and see Gucci belts. You think they went to the Gucci store to get them?
Gucci don't even make most of the products that we stunting in our communities.
We gotta go to break. When we come back,
Oh my God! It's just
Tucson
like
and Donna still be here. I won't. Yo, Terrence. Esco, is Terrence still outside in the green room? Esco, is T still out there? Good.
Herb needs a joint.
I gotta go holler at T, man. Y'all do whatever the hell y'all doing here. This is, I don't even know what this is. We'll be back.
WIIFTBPM.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep the legacy alive. Download the Blackmoji app today.
Yo, who said devotion have to be sad? Yo, check this out. The Lord is my shepherd, shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. God's gonna turn it around.
Come all the way with me. Don't leave me now. Come all the way with me. Oh, please. Please don't leave me now. Please don't leave me now. Please. From glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, oh, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Come all the way with me. Don't leave me now. Come all the way with me. Oh, please. God's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it around. God's gonna turn it around. From glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave back to glory. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave. Glory to Gethsemane, Gethsemane to Golgotha, oh, Golgotha to the grave, from the grave. Dear Lord, it's me again.
I don't know how they talked me back into the studio with them. I was perfectly content to just let them two have this conversation and roll on as they are rolling on. However, I am back. This is I Said What I Said. My name is Herb Howard alongside Tucson Warner. We get together right here with you guys each and every weekday from 3 till 6 p.m. Joining us live in the studio again today is Don B. Got off into a conversation about black liberation, black finances. How can we overcome? How can we get past the legacy of slavery?
Mm-hmm.
It is my personal premise and belief that we must acknowledge it. We must hold the people who are responsible accountable, and then that harm must be then repaired. That is how we do that. I think for long-term sustainable success and being able to build self-sustainable communities for Black people, the added and essential component of loving ourselves and loving each other is absolutely critical to that equation in terms of us being able to build long-term self-sustaining communities. Without that love piece, might we take whatever bread is who the heck is that? Hit X on that thing.
I told him I get off at 6. God, it's so
Nah,
embarrassing.
tell yo, Esco, tell hey, Mace, your 5 o'clock is here.
Yeah, your 5 o'clock appointment must be here.
Anyhow, we got to get to the space of being able to love ourselves and love each other. Otherwise, there is a possibility that we'll get the fucking money, give it right back to the oppressors. We love that shit. We are married to that shit in a way that is unhealthy. But I don't give a fuck if everybody blows it, right? Again, it's your bread. You want to blow it? Blow it. Ideally, should we build our own communities? Absolutely. Should we pull our resources together? Absolutely. But either way, we should get the shit.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying, right? And this idea of like pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, that's not a real thing. No one in America has ever done that.
My question, here's a question then. As you guys said, we have to acknowledge slavery, embrace it and such. And then a couple of your callers gave their ideas of solutions. Can those two things happen at the same damn time?
Can what two things happen at the same time?
As we acknowledge slavery and know and understand what it has done to Black people, can Black people at the same time as studying and knowing, embracing slavery, can Black people at the same time strive for unity?
Yes, we must.
That's all I was asking.
But here's what I'm saying. This is I think.
Thank you.
There's a piece that seems to be missing in this equation. To fully understand slavery and the ramifications thereafter, is to also understand that all of these psychological things you're talking about overcoming are a direct result of that. These are by design. These it's not just by happenstance. Black people don't just somehow hate ourselves. We don't just somehow kill each other. We don't just somehow fall a victim to drug abuse and all that.
You're right. I know.
It is a well laid out system that was designed specifically to bring about the results that we see in our community.
Absolutely. I'm on
Until
that.
we acknowledge and address that and do something to overthrow that particular system, all that other shit is again, it's just symptomatic. It's like if you got the analogy I always use is if you have a cold, if your nose is running, I can pass you Kleenex until you blow your nose right off your face. Until we get to treat the virus that's on the inside, your nose will continue to run.
Probably for another couple weeks.
Yeah, but in this case, we're talking about a couple hundred years of white supremacy.
I believe it. Absolutely.
Or a better analogy for me, at least, is like cancer, right? You got to cut it out from the root, right? You can't cut it out from where it's metastasized at, right? You must know where the root is, reach the root, and cut it out via the root, right?
Right.
So in context, and even through the conversation that we're having today, right? Even when the sister says we spend 1.8 trillion, right? But without context, you don't really know what 1.8 trillion really means. With the added context, it changes how big that number really is, right? So without the context of fully grasping and understanding how slavery has affected us, not just emotionally, and we don't even fully
so
grasp
we can't start to
how it affects us emotionally.
No.
Right? We don't even fully grasp that, right? So in that vein, until we fully understand it, and that's why I said, it's interesting. The sister that called in and said we need to have this ADOS requirement, i.e. ADOS. You know what ADOS is? Have you heard that before?
What is it? What are you saying?
ADOS. The sister that called in, I don't remember who it was, made mention to the ADOS.
Shannon said that. It might have been Robert.
It might have been Shannon or Robert. I don't know who called with that.
What is ADOS?
ADOS it stands for American Descendants of Slavery, right?
Oh.
Now, the reason why that becomes valid is because even in the context of you talking about Kamala Harris and her being a Black woman, right? In context, yeah, she's Black in regards to the diaspora. But in context to having our Black experience, she's not.
Okay.
No. It's not just okay. Same thing with Barack, and here's why that matters. And this is what I mean about the metastasization. We just try to slide over and allow everything.
It's more comfortable, bro, to just be like, fuck it, than it is to be like, here's the issue, here's how we address it. It's much easier to just be like, yo, fuck it. I know where my next meal is coming from, and that's good enough.
And that's not
But
what's
in
up.
context is important.
Okay, so what about the people that have embraced it too? What about the people that absolutely wrote books on the slavery? Do they have to wait for everybody else to catch up, or can they start the process? This is where I'm at.
So again, you just said unity, right? You just said unity is one of the solutions, right? So if we're not unifying, what are we unifying around? That's kind of, we getting back to the context
Black
of the
people.
No, wait,
our
stop,
history.
though.
We're going to raise ourselves up. We're going to stop saying, hey, because so many black people live here, I'm going to move here. I'm going to move away from black people. We have to now learn to love each other. We have to start the healing process.
Yeah, but even earlier you said if black people in the 90s had any sense, they was all moving out, if they had any sense.
Well,
that was detrimental to our shit.
I was making a comparison
What I'm
between
saying,
Kamala Harris and blackness, though, right? If you won't let me finish the statement, I'll get to why that matters, right? So Kamala Harris is not black in the context of the American slave experience. She is not. She was born in, 1969 or some shit, to a Jamaican father, an Indian mother. Her context was, I had a passport in 1963 or whenever she was born, which was definitely not the experience of the average black person in America at 1963. She was raised by a mother who was in the top 1 percentile of all wealth. Her father, who was in the top 1 percentile of all wealth. Her experience is she lived in the wealthiest community in Canada. All of Canada, right? Had all of this outside of us experience. But because she was dark-skinned, we say, well, she fucking understands us. She's like us. And she ain't like us. She ain't had the experience like us.
Who is us? Who is us?
Black people, which is why the ADOS context matters. It matters. That's why it matters. Oh, my God. So what are we missing?
I didn't say it doesn't matter. I said, can we embrace it and start to heal? No healing until everybody in America.
We must first understand it.
Who doesn't?
The vast majority of us that went and voted for fucking Kamala.
What about the people that understand it?
Listen, we just talked about unity. You just said that. That was your word, right? What does unity matter in? In what regard? What does unity ever matter in? In what regard?
When are black
If you
people,
are unified, you can move as a what? As a group.
As a unit.
As a collective group, what did we do? We voted for Joe Biden, right? That's what we did. We elected this Democratic president, right? No, stop, just listen. I'm going to make it very fucking simple.
Yeah.
We elected him, right? Because why? He was the lesser of two evils, which essentially represented what? Something better for us. Ideally, that's what that did, right? But what I'm saying is, the motherfucker that we went and casted our vote for, because he is not connected to the construct of being better for us ideally, we voted for who? The vice president. Why? Because she was dark-skinned, like we assumed. Wait, stop.
That's not
We said it was her melanin that validated her in our group, and she's not in our group. We're associating her version of blackness to our version of blackness. The Indian at Dunkin' Donuts is darker than me. He's darker than me. He has more melanin than me. But he's not a part of my experience. He doesn't equate himself to part of my experience.
So we didn't vote.
Listen, we got to take
and 45 got back in.
When we come back from break,
Then that would have been us being disillusioned some more.
hopefully
Disconnected
we'll
even
get to
more.
a space where we can understand this thing. Shannon, I am trying. I am being wildly unsuccessful. ROW, bet not go nowhere. If I got to be here, so do you.
I am listening. I'm asking a question.
I think I'm answering the question.
Y'all good.
You're not answering.
When we come back from break, they'll keep yelling. I'll keep sitting here. This is I Said What I Said. We'll be right back.
WIFTBPM.
You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard. We have a very, very special guest, man, joining us on today's show.
Walter Beach, he's my godfather and one of two of the dopest black men I've met in my entire life.
This is how I always introduce myself. I'm black in attitude, I'm black in behavior, I'm black in belief and thought, and I'm African in spirit. I accept and acknowledge the fact of my African self being intuitively and have developed the cognitive strength to function as a black man in America. As an African black man, my hypocrisy manifests as silent rage. I must decide what my relationship to racism will be. Only I can say when and where I enter my manhood with quiet, undisputed dignity, without violence or special patronage, asking no quarters and giving no quarters. When and where I enter, I take with me my people. That's what the sovereignty that Toussaint was talking about means to me. I'm a sovereign human being. And like he was talking about in that point that we made in Amistad when we was talking about all of our species demands to be free. They may not have the power to prevent it, but they just demands it. And that's what they do. That's what the struggle is about.
Where my steppers at?
This is retired State Senator Ricky Hendon. This is my new song, Be My Christmas. It's on my House Party CD, produced by house music icons King Farley. It's available on my website, HollywoodHendon.com, various streaming platforms, and CDs. The album also has songs like We Getting Lit and Rona Money. Get the House Party CD in time for Christmas and New Year's Eve. This is our new song, We Getting Lit. Just in time for New Year's Eve. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Go to HollywoodHendon.com and get my music. Let's bring in 2021. Ricky Hollywood Hendon. Don't forget me, y'all.
This is the king of house music, Farley Jack Master Funk, and I endorse Hollywood Ricky Hendon. Let's go to work.
And we are back live from the What's in It for the Black People Media Studios. Excuse me. This is I Said What I Said alongside Toussaint Warner. My name is Herb Howard. Joining us live in studio is Don Bullshit Bowman.
Hey!
Bullshit. Beautiful.
You want to rumble with John B? Huh?
Put a hex on the whole family. I see you out here.
Yo,
That's why you should have came back with that Sam Trump. But anyhow, listen, man, we appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Your comments, we've been reading them. They've been valuable. They've been appreciated. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the conversation.
Damn, they trying to assassinate me because I'm asking how do you heal from slavery?
Because the Iswiz family, they
I get it, but damn,
passionate and they informed.
Because I'm asking questions. Does that really mean I'm not listening to what you are saying? I hear it. And two, you so nice off air. You explain it and you break it down.
Don,
but
nice,
soon as
period.
this mic turn back on, you be like,
Because Don, when the
you're
mics
not
turn
listening.
off, your ears turn on. I mean, when your mics turn on, your ears turn off. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
But you answer it so dope off air, and then you come back and you make it seem like we battling and we not. I'm literally agreeing.
I'm not
with
made
everything
it seem
you are
like
saying.
we battling at all. I
Okay,
don't
you're
know where
not.
the context
they
is.
think that, but
They
I
good
totally
with you.
agree.
They just as passionate as you are. They gonna express themselves, and
I
you know
agree.
it is what it is. They ain't got no issue with you. You good.
Yeah.
As Two says, you good money in here.
So
I'm gonna love you regardless, right? And
Regardless
that's what I feel for black people in general. Even when they don't get it, I'm gonna love them through it. I said I'm gonna learn you.
now we already see they keep repeating the same shit. I know about the reparations. I know what you're saying. We need to embrace. Some people know about slavery. My question was simply, do you think it's possible to read and understand and get all of the information about slavery and understand what it has done to us as black people? Do you think that while we are doing that, we can also start the healing process? Because according to
That
this,
is a part of the healing
according
process.
to this,
I'm gonna say no.
according
Herb said
to-
yes.
That is a part of the healing process.
Okay,
But I'm gonna say no.
That is
Herb
part
said
of-
yes. I'm gonna say no.
Now, according to this, all the Iswiz people know hella shit about slavery. Everybody didn't drop knowledge about boom, 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 boom.
They smart like that.
Exactly. So you playing these niggas.
How
They
we playing
know.
them?
Can we now heal? Can I just heal with the Izwiz family then? Because they already know.
No, it is imperative that those of us who are aware and engaged, it is imperative that we're on the same page, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is the only chance we have of reaching those amongst us who either aren't aware or aren't engaged, right? Like we have to get on the same page first. So yeah, that's a necessary part of the process. I do think that we can heal. I do think that it takes that knowledge, that information, that understanding. I can't believe that we haven't told you this in 2 hours yet, but
People keep saying I'm saying move on. I'm not saying forget about the shit.
listen.
But heal. Let's
So listen,
heal. Let's
but listen,
start to heal because
I'ma
we're going to
say
have this
this.
conversation, the same exact words in 3 years.
Until
So,
you
let me say
fully
this, though.
understand white supremacy, what it is and how it works, everything you think you know will only confuse you.
That's way too much for Don. She didn't.
That took her all the way out.
That took her all the way out. And that's how it usually works, right? It usually takes most of us out, which is why we don't move forward.
And
right?
I'm back.
So I'm gonna say this though, right? In a lot of ways, Donna, most of this information is new information in the lexicon of the conversation in general. It's new information. It just is, right? So when I say that Barack Obama wasn't black like us, or Kamala Harris isn't black like us, you know, those are conversations that are hard to articulate to a community who does not deem it that way. Right, because when they see the black skin of Kamala Harris or they see the brown skin of Barack Obama, they associate with that with their struggle, right? And because we don't have the context of the understanding of the real world effects of slavery, of the real world effects of lineage, of the real world effects of how citizenship, that's a whole different conversation. This is new information, right? If we do the math, before I think 1963, America was pretty much white folks and descendants of slavery. That was it. That was the only motherfuckers that was here, right? So after the civil rights movement, it opened up the door for immigration. All of those other peoples, those Africans, those Indians, all them other people who kind of look like us. And even if they came in and began to integrate and filter into our communities by having babies with our men or our women, however it happened.
Added more black people.
However it happened, they didn't get here to the goddamn 60s.
Okay.
Right? So their experience is not the same. It just isn't. It just isn't. And when they come here, we got to be clear about this shit. Here's just a basic math problem again. The poor motherfucker in Nigeria, he don't fucking get here. He don't get here. So his experience of getting here is usually fueled by some motherfucking wealth.
You gotta have some bread to cross the ocean.
You got to have some bread to cross the fucking ocean.
Okay.
Right? So his experience, all again, is not ours. Right? So we come here with the idea set that just because a motherfucker is dark skinned, he's rolling with our philosophies. And they're not. So when Kamala says, hey man, I ain't doing shit for black people, and then we run out in droves and still cast our vote for her based on an idea of what the fuck she looks
so
like.
say, when you don't vote.
Wait though. Based on the idea of what she looks like, when her mindset and her philosophy and her whole career has been set up against us. Her whole fucking career is shitted on black people. All you gotta do is look at the record. Public knowledge shit. That's it. But we run in droves to give her our vote. So we did that when you look at the data, we did that as a unified populace.
Okay, so we didn't say we did not vote. We was like, screw this election. I'm not voting at all. Now Trump's back in office.
So fucking what?
Now have we set ourselves back another?
No. Because what are we getting if he in office, and what do we get if he not in office?
Biden said he was down for
Biden ain't did shit. Neither did Barack. We didn't get shit out of those.
How long do you think
those administrations?
How long is it gonna take to cut a check?
How long did it take them to cut the same amount of check for the entire country for COVID? Did it take 400 years for them to figure that shit out?
That stimulus package, that $12.
I'm gonna tell you this though. Look,
how much money do you think that was?
So you just asked her what was the reparations number, right?
Wait,
and
what I asked her?
You said what number you think reparations should be?
Oh yeah,
right. And I don't know what Herb said, but I've heard numbers up to as high as 33 or 30.
Yeah, the low
2 trillion.
Somewhere between 17 and 34.
34 trillion.
Right. So if we go back to the Barack Obama administration, right, just the time that he was in office until today, right, the top 1% of Americans have amassed that same number. So it's not undoable. They got it. The government legislated them to get it. We're in COVID right now, right? We're in COVID right now. And we had a conversation just last week about the billionaires who've made hundreds of billions of dollars over the last 5 fucking months.
Now, you know what Kama is going to do?
What? Be the vice president. That's what she going to fucking do.
She did that to slide in on whiteies under their eye.
Yeah, that's what y'all
Then
always
she
believe.
gonna get in there and
So she married that white man for that same reason? She married that white man for that same reason? She
I
wasn't
married
on
a
that
white man
mannerism?
for that same reason.
Your
So that
husband
I
is a
could-
white man
so
in the
that I
military?
could procreate and make little black babies and add to the black population.
That's part of the conversation though, in reality though, right?
I-
That's why that white
I
man
know
won't give up
dum-dum.
no power, because we are the biggest threats to him. Because we know once you lay down with us, ain't no more white people. We gonna fuck y'all out of existence. That's the reality, right? So if I know that, we laughing at that shit, but it's real. And if I know that, and I know that I can maintain power by what? Effeminizing your men, even when it goes back to that goddamn tweet. Wait, even if I can do that, even if
Whoa, wait, what? Wait, what just happened?
I didn't stutter.
What happened?
I didn't think
You made
stuttered.
the joke about the white man, and I'm saying it ain't no fucking joke.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm saying that legitimately we will fuck him out of existence. That's the reality. Right? That's the reality. I'll lay down with your white ass woman, she gonna have a black ass baby.
Absolutely.
It
That's
is what
they
it is.
know, and that's why they behave
Right?
the way they do.
So which makes me what? The biggest threat to his power source anyway. Because even if I ain't got shit, all I gotta do is have a dick and keep fucking, I win. That's it.
That's gonna take longer than getting the checks.
No, it
cut.
fucking don't. It don't really take that long, because you know what? Babies born after 2005 will be the last time that the white man is the majority population in America. So we already fucking him out of existence. And he's well aware of it.
Oh, so we starting the process.
The process been started.
The process started the first time a white person had sex with a person who was not white. They realized at that very instant that anytime they procreate with the person who is not like them, that offspring is going to look like that other person. As soon as they learned that early on in history, when they were going around conquering lands, as soon as they learned that, they understood that it was now going to be imperative for them to acquire and maintain power, because simple genetics and biology would wipe them off the face of this earth otherwise.
Yep.
It's about their very survival. When we make this fight about our very survival, then, and only then, in my opinion, will we be able to fight this fight on fair ground. They are willing to do anything that it takes to maintain their position. We ain't willing to have a fucking conversation to change ours.
Well, we are.
No, we're not.
Look at it.
It's like,
Look at
get
this.
over it, get past it.
We having a whole legit conversation. I was
Are
supposed
we?
to be here for.
We making a lot of noise. Are we having a conversation?
I think we are, sweetie. You don't think so?
I think so.
I think it's a conversation.
This is a conversation.
I'm not bullshitting.
We yelling and shit, but it's a conversation.
Well, I speak loud and hard.
Me too. This is what niggas do. That's why I'm mad at it.
Yeah,
I like it. I love it.
You know, I speak,
Like,
but
it's
I stand firm on what I say.
You wrong though. In all your
you're wrong in
firmness.
your opinion.
You wrong in all
My
your
opinion.
firmness.
So if I go start a whole, I'm not even about to do this shit. Because I get.
Come on, we having a conversation.
No, we having a conversation. You can't run now, goddamn it. You can't run now.
We literally came to where it started. I understood from the beginning what you were saying. I was simply asking a question.
And I think I simply
And you did. And you did. Now I see people saying, "Oh, okay, I understand. Yeah, that some people want me to hang myself with this cord." But see, that's another black woman keeping another black woman down.
Her ass must have been drinking that goddamn lemonade.
She is a fool. She is a
Who
fool.
been drinking my lemonade?
We gotta take our last break when we
Thank
come
God,
back.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Right, Robin. I bet you it didn't seem like it was quick today. We gotta take our last break.
Claudia,
When we
shut your
come
ass
back
up,
from
Mr.
that
Funk.
last break, why you gotta be talking
I
to
want you
Carl
to
like
read
that?
these nuts, Claudies.
Jesus!
Yeah.
Stop talking about people like that.
Come back from the last break. We'll put a bow in the conversation for today and wrap it up. This is I Said What I Said. Don is in here. We'll be back.
WIFTDPM.
Greetings, family. I am Salim Muwakil, and I welcome you to Muwakil's World. I'm going to chop it up with Dr. Lance Williams, professor at Jacob Carruthers Center for Inner City Studies, and one of the most knowledgeable scholars of Chicago's street organizations.
During the doo-wop era, you wasn't doing no doo-wop about what you was doing in the street. That was improper. What made rap so unique was that for the first time, this is how we actually are living, especially at the bottom. So what happens is it becomes so popular because it's so raw. Ultimately, rappers realize that this is what sells, and this is what the industry wants. So even guys who don't authentically have those experiences and young women are rapping about it and having success. And after years of now this happening, it becomes known that, hey, this dude ain't really no real gangster. This is a studio gangster. And what it did was music lost credibility because people thought they were listening to real gangsters rap. The sales of the music, which basically was being consumed by white suburban youth. This was their way of, it was a voyeuristic way of experiencing the hood, which they've always been fascinated with, without actually putting your life in danger. So you can listen to it, but once they found out, oh, these dudes ain't real, then even they stopped buying it. What's going on in the streets today? Because what the industry did was they realized, hey, the studio gangster thing ain't gonna work. So guess what? Let's go get some real gangsters that got the real credibility. But when Chief Keef and these guys, so what we have expressed in the music scene today, when you deal with either, trap down stuff, but particularly drill music is the hot music. That's right. Nationally, right? And internationally. And internationally, right? Which started right here on 63rd. O Block. Okay, O Block. So it's a shooting culture. So that's what they're rapping about, and that's what is hot, right? And so we saw the tragedy.
Fratricide is hot.
Yeah, that's the tragedy of King Von, right? Of him, he's a real dude. Now what happens is, because that's the model of success, everybody is following that. So everybody wants to be a shooter now, and what it's doing is it's driving a lot of the violence. In any culture, your music and your entertainment is a part of your cultural expression. So whenever you can have an extended period of time of a particular type of music that's having influence, it becomes a part of your culture. That's what Kwabena is saying in terms of his activism. I'm saying basically these radio stations are helping to produce a culture that's leading to the death and destruction of the black community so that they could sell, commodify, their merch, right? But, we losing a lot of little brothers and sisters in the streets because of the way they think about things, how they see themselves, which they get from the music. Now, people are like, well, that's crazy that they're being influenced by music. They should be influenced by the values of their families. Ideally, yes, but the reality of the society that we live in is who has the biggest voice. And we know the media is the biggest voice in terms of ideals in the society that we live in.
If that fratricidal motif is being absorbed primarily by white listeners, who's the primary audience, yes, why aren't they exhibiting this kind of behavior?
Because, first of all, it's not their identity.
And Luther South. You went to Luther South, right? What's that? Who was the
What school you go to?
Mother Macaulay. I'm a Mighty Mac. No, hell no, it's not.
Mother Macaulay.
Are you an MI? Are you an MIGHTYMAC?
That explains a lot.
That does.
That explains.
I just saw
all my niggas was white in high school.
I know.
That
I see it.
Yep.
I see it all.
That explains a lot.
Oh, homegirl said she got a headache and she's not. Why don't y'all take one of those white pills?
That's right. She has that same experience.
At least you dance better than Maze.
That's true. The Mother Macaulay experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what high school did you go to?
I went to Dunbar, Paulins Dunbar.
Oh, you had the nigga experience. And I heard you say something about dolphins or some shit.
Then I moved out of town.
Oh, should have been a dolphin.
Should have been a dolphin.
Fucking
But I was always rooted
Instead,
in my
I'm a
blackness.
human.
I was already rooted in my
smartest animal in the world, dolphins. That's why we call that.
And they look like the dumbest animals in the world. I'm just playing. Okay, I respect when they're young. Dunbar, see,
Some of the most the vast majority of the most successful black people in Chicago came up out of Dunbar and DuSable because
I know because of that black power. I'm sorry. Now you know what? Now I'm being ridiculous.
But also I got in trouble and I had to move to see the Rappers Island. So it is what it is.
On that.
But I was very well rooted in my blackness already. I was not black fused about it.
I'm black and then black. What's happening, good people, man? This is I Say What I Said. We got about a few minutes left in the show before we wrap up. Thank y'all so much for being a part of the conversation today. It's been a lot to take in. Lots of comments have been flying through. I'm probably go back through it and watch it tonight to see all the stuff y'all said and try to respond to some of it. But we greatly appreciate all of y'all input and tuning in. Thanks for calling. Shannon called. RO double called. I'm pretty sure Brian called, but he got tired of waiting and he just hung up. But either way, we appreciate y'all, man. As always, your input was certainly valued. It was absolutely appreciated. What? What?
I appreciate the IzWiz team. This is outstandingly great. Hearts, emojis for me and my face. Bloop, 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 bloop.
Yeah, Maze is out there having a blast. He out doing his screenshot. Let him know, Dr. Tanksley. Dolphins in the building.
They said the Catholic schools manufactured serial killers.
That's kind of true.
For white people, not for the blacks.
What's in it for the black
Then
people?
they manufacture confused black people for the black people. Okay.
Miss Deborah Wilson is in the building from across the ocean. We appreciate you, Miss Deborah Wilson. Thank you so much for checking in. Salute. Always. Listen, man. I want to give a quick shout out to the entire What's in It for the Black People Media family, man. I was tuning in to all the shows earlier. Caught the Mace Jackson show this morning.
You listen to that?
I like Ruthie.
I get it. I fully understand.
Ruthie drop a gem every now and then.
Ruthie dope.
But I like Ruthie because she'd be on her computer like, why the fuck is
Why am I sitting here with these two motherfuckers? God
like,
damn.
Why am I here?
Damn. Does anybody in here read?
You know what I'm saying? So I watched the Mace Jackson show just for the gems that Ruthie might drop in the morning.
Yeah, Ruthie saves them.
And I stuck around for the Book of Dawn. D. Millie was back in the building. Our little big sister.
Millie. I ain't get a chance to see Don.
Yeah, she was back in the building with the Penis Whisperer.
It's a penis whisperer in here?
Yeah, every Monday on the Book of Dawn.
Not in here. Not in here. Be cool.
She be here every Monday though.
Slow your roll.
She put you on.
Oh, I spoke to her last. Yeah.
She can help you find
She
your.
can help you.
She
She
can
can
help you
help you
find
get
your new
back in
penis.
shape.
She told me to have sex with my ex-husband and a new boo at the same time if your heart can handle it. And
At
I'm
the
like,
same time, like
what's wrong
a
with that?
threesome.
I couldn't handle it. If I'm going to get a divorce, if I could handle it, I wouldn't be getting a divorce.
If you can handle what?
Having sex with my husband.
Oh, what you saying?
The new boo was fine. It's the husband.
You saying he too big?
No,
I never would have asked that question.
I was saying, can you get your marriage
She
back
couldn't
together?
handle it. I don't know what that means.
She said if you have separated from your spouse, it's okay to continue to have sex with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
you can
agree with that.
handle
Man, why not?
Why are you separated?
Because y'all don't really want to rock like that. That mean you got to trade
I
in the
want to
box.
rock right now.
The shop is closed.
Why?
Shop is
That's
closed.
what's wrong
No
with y'all. Y'all
clearance.
always negotiating the goddamn box.
Don't throw the baby out with the
Always
bathwater.
negotiating the box.
That's their greatest tool.
That's their greatest
I'm
weapon.
taking my box and I'm going
And then
home.
you realize it's really not your greatest weapon because box is readily available.
I
to
don't say
everybody.
pause,
I
Nicole.
didn't say box is my greatest.
It was my greatest.
Hell no.
Oh,
it's
but
not.
y'all leverage it.
Now,
so
it don't help. But
when you say
it
shop
helps.
is closed,
It helps with that WAP is present though. Certified free.
but that's
WAP
what
is
when WAP is present. In most instances, WAP ain't present.
Days a week.
WAP is scarce.
Most people got DAP.
Yeah. Dumbass penis.
That is.
Everybody confused that WAP with that DAP.
Everybody swear they got WAP, boy.
Dreadful ass
Everybody swear.
Ooh, I got that WAP. Right
Everybody
behind
swear
this DAP.
they just dripping. Cut it out, fam. Cut it out. That's all good. Whatever kind you got, use it. You know what I'm saying?
Wonderful.
That's what they make KY jelly for.
I saw you in the comments on Friday on Relationship Friday. You was like something about bad WAP, and I was like, I don't know if bad WAP exists.
Oh.
Bad WAP exists.
I got about 2 bodies.
Bad WAP?
Oh yeah.
I mean, not WAP.
I don't say WAP. Right. Bad box.
Bad box. Bad box.
You said
Yeah,
bad box.
bad
And I
box.
was like, there's bad box?
No, I don't think there's a bad box.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
I have about
I don't
2
think
bodies.
all boxes are created
I
equal.
got at least 2 bodies that probably could say that this was
It's bad box. out.
BAP.
The person that you're having sex with is whack.
Yeah, that's what happened.
The box ain't the
Give a
problem.
fuck. It's still bop. What the fuck? Give a fuck how I got here. It showed up. I ain't asked what package it came in.
That's like
Fuck is here.
that's like said. Here come Principal Beulah, Principal McCoy. Like this is Monday. Why are we talking like this? Sorry, Principal.
Yeah, she's right.
We apologize.
She's right.
Yeah, it was Herb's fault. It's Herb's
It is
fault.
Herb's fault.
It's
How is it
Herb's
my fault? She was talking about
Herb
banging
always
2
starts
niggas.
it. Herb and Don
You
together
kicked
is a
it
fucking
off.
problem. I'm gonna have to manage this.
She was talking about banging 2 niggas. It wasn't me.
That's
Oh,
no. Gina.
But it all came from the sex whisperer.
Right. All I was trying to do was shout out the whole What's in it for the Black People
That's
media
true.
family.
And
I was
then,
saying
you
that
know,
Gina, the
Y'all
penis
pervs
whisperer,
and y'all mindsets.
right? Y'all just take it off and go crazy.
Those pathologies of those black people.
All I was saying was that the penis whisperer was here for
those
the Book of Dawn
pathologies of
today.
those black people.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And now Beulah finna send me to detention about it. That's all I'm saying.
Yo,
Is
Iz was about
that
to
Gina was here.
Iz was about to send me to detention talking about WAP. White ass people.
White ass people.
Yeah, mugs.
Wait, Nicole said white ass PP.
I've been leveraged that one.
Widow ass PP.
Oh.
Wow. Widow ass PP. That's unfortunate.
557.
So your husband is white?
No, he's a black man from North Carolina.
Okay, I thought we
So
asked
he
that
like
question, but then
whitish.
today I thought you said. I ain't gonna say he's a crackhead. Say he's crack.
Oh, he's a Marine. You said Army earlier.
Definitely whitish.
Let me just clarify.
Yeah, it's whitish.
Breaking news: the new president of MSNBC is now a black woman.
Here we go. We on the come up.
Shout out to her for handling her business, man. Listen,
We about to slide in and get them reparations. Yo, just wait. It's gonna take a black woman to do it, though. Let's be clear.
Oh Lord Jesus.
Let's be clear.
Oh Lord.
That
Jesus.
check is coming.
Okay, so it's 558.
Kamala cutting the check.
Nope.
Kamala?
She's gonna be there though. She's gonna say word
Word.
to the motherfucking DOC.
Hey, man, I am done. Thank y'all so very, very much for y'all's input. Thank y'all so very, very much for tuning in. We will be back here tomorrow, same time, same place at 3 p.m. Y'all make sure y'all get up in the morning with the Mace Jackson Show. Stick around for the Book of Dawn. Tomorrow is Tuesday, is it not? There will be a collective conversation. Then we'll be back. Is that right?
I sent you guys some
I'm missing
stars.
Oh, we so appreciate it.
Reparations have come early from Don B.
All that black pathology.
Listen, man, y'all make sure y'all have a phenomenal, phenomenal evening. We'll catch y'all back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. for Sonia Escobar, for our very, very special guest, Miss Don B. And for my player partner, shout out to Gina T. His name is Toussaint Warner. My name is Herb Howard. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Until then, y'all be good to each other.
Assalamu alaikum.
Peace.